Now, help me out, Blaster. Transform and play something nice.
And now, a nice and nifty musical selection for easy listening. Hold on to your dancing shoes and go, man, go!
One shall stand, one shall fall.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to One Shall Stand, One Shall Fall, a Transformers TCG podcast broadcasting live from an underground bunker in the middle of the murky Midlands.
I want to boot some Decepticon right in his turbocharger.
Whoa. Calm down, Cliff Jumper. Wow. Seriously, put that gun down. You're going to kill somebody in this studio. Goodness. Right, anyway, I'm your host, Lee, from Bluetop Productions, and today I have a motley crew of people to talk everything about Transformers TCG. That's right, the trading card game based on the cartoon from the 80s. This podcast will talk about news about the Transformers the TCG, new releases, deck profiles, and stuff that's happening in the community. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy.
One shall stand, one shall fall.
What up, guys, and welcome to another podcast here on Bluetop Productions, on Podbean and on YouTube. This is One Shall Stand, One Shall Fall, episode 11, the ALPHA Trion Protocols WAVE 2 review. That's a bit of a mouthful, but yeah, Wave 2 has hit us, and it's hit us hard, because they've added a little bit of awesomeness. But we're not going to get straight into it, because as you are well aware, guys, we had a bit of a marathon of podcasts recently with my good friend Dave from the Energon Hustlers, and we got some great feedback from the community and from private messages and stuff and people from the ARC, etc. And I've basically said to Dave, I would love to have you as my co-host. So guys, I just want to say thank you, Dave, for agreeing to being my co-host, but welcome to the podcast, pal.
Whee! Yeah, hello.
Exactly.
It was, doing that previous one was an absolute blast, wasn't it? We had such a laugh, just going through the bots, battle cards and stratagems, and like you say, the feedback was phenomenal. So just to be offered to come on here, I jumped at it. I was like, yeah, I'm in. And we've got loads of exciting stuff coming up within the community. So it's really cool to have someone to sort of bounce those ideas off. So yeah, I'm here, and yeah, here to stay. Yeah. For better or for worse.
It is. Dave is here. He's the new co-host, guys. So you'll be, welcome, Dave, is more than I can say, and thank you for accepting the open invitation. Much appreciated, pal.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm psyched for this, and this new ALPHA Trion set looks awesome. We've got some ideas, haven't we, going forward? Some exciting stuff. In addition to the podcast, we're going to do some more battle reports against each other. So whilst I do a lot of stuff with my wife, Claire, on the Energon Hustlers, you sadly haven't got any ARC Wave 1 playtime, have you, recently? So
no, I've literally been making videos and sharing it with the community and saying, hey, you should play this. Yeah, I haven't played a game with it yet.
And we're going to rectify that soon.
Yes.
We're going to definitely get some games in, because that set is awesome. And we've had like ALPHA Trion drop this week, and there's also been the reformatted set by the Bayformers, which is another set we're going to look at in a future episode. So yeah, there's some really exciting stuff happening within Transformers TCG, and it's crazy to think that officially the game is dead, but it's really not. It really is not dead at all. I think the game's in a better position now than it was when Wizards were doing it. It's crazy. It's almost like there's too much content, but like I love it. So
yeah, I have to 100% agree with you on that. The game is definitely alive more than ever. We've had, like, since the ARC has dropped, like, I've been keeping up with only a few releases because there's so much fan-created stuff, which is amazing. This community is phenomenal. Like, you guys out there give us support with this podcast. I think, honestly, not to try and sound big-headed, I think we're the only Transformers TCG podcast now. Because the game's dead. No one's doing one. So no big shoes to fill right there. Just saying. But it's kind of awesome, and it's really interesting to see what the community are making. So, like, since the arc was done, we've had Primus, they've just dropped a set, and now we've got the ALPHA TRION Protocols have just dropped a set, the Bay Formers have dropped a set. There's just sets galore, which is awesome.
I know, there's Wave X as well, isn't there?
Yeah, there's Wave X as well. See, there's so much. I'm even forgetting things because there's so much content out there. And especially, you know, for what people said when... I think my favorite one was when I did the Conehead review, which is obviously they're some of the characters that are in this, what we're going to review. One of the comments in the video was like, I thought this game was dead.
Yeah, totally. I saw that.
Yeah, you know, it might be, but I guess it isn't. But yeah, so we're glad to bring you One Shall Stand, One Shall Fall, Transformers TCG podcast. We're excited. I think it's like what Rodimus was saying in the movie.
As we march forward to a new age of peace and happiness, till all are one.
All are one, all that jazz. That's exactly what we're going for right now, I think. So, with that being said, on the docket today, we have a little bit of a... We've already welcomed Dave. We're going to give him a little bit of a spiel on this podcast as well. If you don't know who Dave is, you've been living under a bit of a rock. We'll give him a bit more of a spiel of what he does. And then we're going to talk a little bit of like what we've been up to, like what deck ideas and characters we're kind of looking at of possibly building in the not too distant future. And then we're going to get straight into the meat of the episode, which is the ALPHA TRION Protocols Wave 2. And then we're going to finish with your guys' segment out there. That's right. You guys out there have sent us questions for us to answer and to be a part of the podcast, because we want this podcast to grow and we want it to be a community kind of based podcast where you guys get to chime in and ask questions, and they can be Transformers related, they could be any kind of related. So we're excited with involving you guys in the community going forward in this podcast. So if you don't know who Dave is, ladies and gentlemen, and if you don't, shame on you.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
We'll just hilariously bring in some Game of Thrones references there. And yeah, Dave, give us a little bit of a spiel, like what do you do in the TC community and all that jazz?
Yeah, I run a tiny little, well, it's growing, but we started out very small, me and some friends last year, around about this time actually. So we're coming up to 12 months since I just started doing some YouTube content for the TCG. Mainly it was gameplay to start with, and it was actually on a friend's channel prior to that who picked up the game, and him and his brother converted me after a night of X-Wing at our local store here in Plymouth in the UK. He decided that the game wasn't for him, and he kind of dropped out, and I was like, I really enjoyed doing that and I don't want to stop doing it. So I had a chat with some of the other local players and we started to record some footage. It was very raw to start with. You know, my editing skills have definitely grown over the 12 months, and I feel that the content's better now than it was. But we just started out, and then obviously we had Corona, which kind of scuppered everything. So to keep the channel alive, my amazing wife Claire agreed to carry on recording content. She's a Magic the Gathering player. She's also a avid board gamer, as well as Arkham Horror LCG and lots of, you know, she's a massive gamer, but Transformers was an IP that she wasn't really interested in. So massive thanks is really owed to Claire for playing the game, but she loves card games, and the mechanics of Transformers were enough to keep her sort of interested in the game. And we've just gone from there really, and we put out 2 videos a week on a Tuesday and a Saturday when commitments allow, and sometimes there might be an extra bonus one. But recently I was on the Deck Tech Challenge with you. You invited me to become part of round 2, which was amazing. I had a blast doing that, and just kind of grown from there really. So I started doing set reviews of my own, sort of solo, which is quite hard to do on your own. And we just kind of, well, I don't know, me and you become good friends. We met in the real world, didn't we?
Yes, we met in the real world.
Ago.
Yeah, a few months back before all the madness.
Before the madness, before wave 2 of the madness. But yeah, we recorded some live footage in my local store, Dark Star Gaming, which is also where I do a lot of things there. I play X-Wing, the Star Wars minis game. I'm a TO for that. And I also started to TO for Transformers, not in a WPN way, but in a casual environment. So we used to do like 2 nights a month. We had a community of about sort of 10 active players prior to Corona. So yeah, that's me. I've blown away really by how the channel's grown in the last few months. Being asked to do spoilers for the Ark and for Alpha Trion. Obviously being asked to join you as your co-host, which is amazing, and just loving the game. I think the game's in a more exciting place than it was prior to the cancellation. Obviously this year was plagued with delays for product and stock anyway, and it wasn't just X-Wing. There's a lot of gaming product was kind of halted and not easy to get your hands on. And obviously then we had the devastating news that Wizards were no longer officially supporting it. But just to see the game now, sort of nearly 6 months on from that cancellation announcement, and the quality that is being put out is just amazing. So yeah, excited to look at the game in more detail and sort of push the community forward. I'm really community driven when it comes to gaming in general, but particularly Transformers. I'm really focused on building this community, not just domestically in the UK, but also globally. I've had loads of contact from people in America and beyond, just asking, just hanging out, having a chat, and also some requests for some games. So over Christmas, those of you that have asked for some webcam games, they'll be coming and we will have a blast.
Yeah, it's been really, really awesome to see your channel grow. And I've always said with this game, the community, you've always got to support the little guys, because without those, we all started off little at once. And then obviously you can blossom and boom into big channels and stuff like that. But you've all got to start somewhere. And, you know, it's almost coming up to a year anniversary of your channel. And with your recent battle reports that you've dropped, Dave, I can gladly say I'm excited that my production values have rubbed off on you a little bit. It's exciting to see. It's exciting to see.
Yeah, it's like I'm like your Padawan learner.
Oh gosh, yeah. So now I'm worried. Like you might get more subs than me, and then you'll have the whole Sith thing of like you must destroy. No, we're not going down that path. We cannot create this. We cannot create this. No, but it's good. It's really awesome, and that's the whole point. We met through the Deck Tech Challenge. It was an open invite by me to get all the little channels, and we invited the big channels as well to be a part of it. And just a lot of the little guys were like, "I'm 100% behind this. Let's get into it." And yeah, it was really fun. We're gonna plan on bringing that back in the new year in January. I've got a few people asking already, so we're gonna probably try and do a soft reboot of round 2 again and try and get more of the episodes out, because they're a ton of fun, and it's just really awesome to build the community more, because it's just basically bringing people together with the passion, which is the TCG, but also people who just love Transformers in general. Like, it's so funny when you're playing a game and then you just end up talking about like the comic and the series and just other stuff and the toys. And, you know, like we've got Matafor on the next episode, and trust me, I've nerded out way more about comic books and loads of other stuff Transformers related than, oh yeah, do you know this card does this, this, and this in the TCG? No, it's more about the heart of Transformers with Matt. So you guys will be blessed to have Matt on the next episode. It's going to be fun. We're going to talk about the Ark and loads of other fun stuff. So that is going to be a blast for sure.
100%, yeah. Like, I think that's the main thing with this game, like particularly where it is now. It's a game primarily played by fans of the franchise. You know, there's a lot of other card games out there, more established, that have got a massive following, but the people that play the Transformers TCG, probably 99% of us are fans of that franchise. For me, seeing the foil Optimus Prime versus whatever my mate was playing in the shop, I was like, that's shiny, that's Transformers, I want it in. You know, it's rekindled my love for the franchise after Michael Bay ruined it.
Mate, the first movie is not bad. Number 3 is pretty darn good for action sequences, but they're flawed. They're very, very flawed, and I don't want to drive away our listeners already when I've said that Michael Bay is acceptable. But guys, all I have to say is he gave us Bad Boys 1 and 2 and The Rock, okay? He gave us those 3 movies.
Like you say, there are moments of quality in those films, but there's a lot of bad stuff, particularly the last
Oh yeah, there
2.
is.
But, you know, the card game, I was like, man, they're like they were in the cartoon. I want it, I need it. And yeah, like the comics, I've got my 6-year-old boy, he's obsessed with it. No one else in his class knows what the hell he's talking about, but he is proper into it, and he's challenged you, and he's already talking about like his Bruticus deck. I'm like, oh please, your mum's already kicked my ass with it once. I don't, and it'll be like when Sky Shadow was released. All he wanted to play against me was Sky Shadow. I'm like, no, no, please. But yeah, I've digressed slightly there. But yeah, it's fantastic. Like building the community is so important, and it's great to see that the community is thriving. Particularly, you look at there's a lot of online tournaments. Sadly, I don't have a lot of capacity to enter much, even because I play X-Wing as well quite competitively, and I don't even really have time to enter the online stuff for that. It's really, really hard sort of balancing that time between being a dad and a husband and not neglecting Claire too much. Like as much as she loves playing cards, and there's she likes doing other stuff as well. So
100%.
The community is so important though. So to see the community, the online tournaments. And just people coming together, rallying, because it's a really, really crappy time in the world at the moment. It's unprecedented global situation that none of us could have predicted 12 months ago. And just to see the community rallying around, providing content, providing cards, and just generally giving people something to do from the comfort of their own home and the safety of their own home is so important. I can't stress it enough. Support these tournaments, support the content creators, support the people that are making the cards. Print their cards out, play with them, because they are awesome.
Yeah, 100% agree with everything you say there, Dave. 100%. Get behind the community, be a part of the community. It's quite funny how I said I wanted to take a bigger leap into the community and be a bit more of a voice this year. Then the game got cancelled, but now I've kind of decided to continue to be a bit of a voice. So it's kind of fun, and I feel like our podcast can rekindle a few people to playing the TCG. That's what we really want. So, Dave, before we get into the meat of this review, what have you been working on? What's in the lab currently with your TCG? Is there any characters from this wave or from the last wave, or even the dreaded Wizards product? All the kind of stuff. You know those. What's in your lab right now?
Well, just over a week ago, my Arc Wave 1 arrived from MakePlayingCards.com.
Okay.
For anyone that's thinking about having them done professionally, I can't recommend that website enough. I did a review on the Energon Hustlers. Not review, I did a tutorial on the Energon Hustlers this week. That went out on Wednesday. So if anyone's got qualms, because it can be quite boggling when you go on there and you see like the amount of options that are for like cardstock, size, this, that, the other, packaging and all that sort of, it's like, oh my God, there's so much to think about. So I did a tutorial. So they arrived just over a week ago, and the quality is amazing, mate. The quality is just, you put them side by side to an official card, and they are near darn perfect.
Wow.
Minus the foiling. They do a foiling option, but it obviously adds cost on. So yeah, I've just been building Arc Wave 1 stuff like a maniac. I've got some stuff in the pipeline that I really, really can't wait to try. I got a really good bargain on King Starscream from Wave 2.
Yeah, you were telling me.
Yeah, it was a great bargain until Customs hit me for £16.
Yeah, Customs, always the giant punch in the face for us here in the UK. But you got King. You got a King.
I got King, and it is a roulette. I have ordered stuff and not got stung by it. So I finally got King Starscream. I've wanted him for a while, and we were talking in the previous podcast about, you could believe I didn't have Tidal Wave and I didn't have the King. I just never got him. So I'm working on a Ghost of Starscream deck at the moment.
Cool.
So that's on the back burner. Stuff I have been playing with is I've got my ass kicked by Bruticus. and I was running Rodimus Prime. That's a really cool deck. We recorded last night, and this match was phenomenal. Wreck-Gar Bike Gang with Chromia, Flamewar, and RC, which is Claire's favourite deck, her pet deck, one of the few decks she's built herself, but with Wreck-Gar instead of a Battlemaster. That guy is a pain in the bum. He just won't die. So you're best off just leaving him till last. But obviously Claire led with him most of the time, and it's like, oh, great. I'm going to put loads of damage in.
Pro tips, lead with Wreck-Gar. Lead with Wreck-Gar.
Lead with Wreck-Gar. And conversely, I had an annoying character deck as well. And I had, this will be going on Tuesday, this one. It's Megatron Autobot Bane. So the weaponizer with Captain Astrotrain and Night Racer.
Oh, man. That sounds good. That sounds really good.
It's amazing. Like, two of the games are down to the wire. I mean, like, literally, like, it's the set is just so cool. So yeah, to nail it, I'm currently working on Ghost of Starscream, and I've been playing with a bunch of other stuff from the arc. Cool. So what about you, man? What have you been building?
Right,
you've been theory crafting a lot, haven't you?
I have. I've been theory crafting a lot. I've got 3 decks that I'm literally ready to go, and I'm excited to eventually play at some point. I know I need to just jump on Discord at some point and be like, hey guys, I want to have a game, which I can easily do, and the guys keep telling me I should just jump on Discord and play. But when you're editing and doing other stuff and life and work, you know, you forget to have fun sometimes. And don't get me wrong, I love editing, it's fun, I love putting all this stuff out, but you need to remember that to have fun with your hobby and not let the hobby run you in a way, because you can easily just lose your passion. But I'm having so much fun building. I've built the Conehead deck from this wave, which we're going to talk about later, guys. These guys are phenomenal. Stupid shenanigans I have in that deck. It is absolutely ridiculous. I love the guys over at Vector Sigma for making the Coneheads. On my spoiler review, you know how passionate I am about the Coneheads, and I think it bleeds through a little bit that I kind of gave the middle finger to Wizards for screwing up a simple design aspect. But
just a little bit.
Just a little bit bitter about that, not gonna lie. But the other 2 decks I'm really excited about playing. One is completely what I said on one of our character reviews for the arc, which is I've built the Magnus Rodimus deck, and it is horrible. It is horrible. Like, it punches so hard and makes everyone that, in theory, cry. It should. It really should make them cry, because there's a lot of health to go through, and these 2 hit really, really hard. Like, they can one-shot a lot of characters how I've built it. It's pretty stupid, just saying is all. And then the fun one that I've just started building, like today, as I had a little bit of time to do, is a major Soundwave deck with some of the new mini cassettes and some of the what is it? I'm trying to remember now. So it's Major Shockwave from the Blaster set. So you basically got the Soundwave that can start with mini cassettes under him. And I've gone with a little bit of fun. I'm trying them out. I think they've got some games. So I've gone with the new Rat Bat, and I've also gone with Beast Box from the arc. So there's 2 new mini cassettes. But from obviously this wave that we're about to talk to, I put in Raider Overkill, because he just has a really interesting synergy with Beast Box, and what all these guys can do is really screw up your opponent's hand and do some really fun shenanigans, and that's the whole idea of the deck. I've kind of gone the way of Soundwave. He's that special ops kind of guy who just wants to mess around with like everything that you do, so you can't really get off all these cool triggers and stuff like that. And that's what I've kind of gone with the idea for the build, and on paper it looks amazing. It could be absolutely toilet when I try it out, but on paper it looks fantastic, and I'm really, really excited to try it out, because obviously we got some new beast cards from the Arc Wave, and I wanted to try out, you know, Beast Box, and I wanted to try out Overkill, and I was like, who doesn't like a giant kind of cool T-Rex looking tape? Come on, seriously, that's awesome. That's like that's my wheelhouse right there. You know, I'm in. But yeah, that's what I've been working on. So yeah, in the comments below, tell us right now, if you're on YouTube and you're watching this, comment below. Tell us what you guys have been building or what you're attempting to build. Give us some ideas. It'd be awesome to do. Obviously on Podbean, you really can't because you're listening to it via the audio. But if you're doing it on the YouTube, please comment below. We're always quite good at talking and having a good bit of banter. And also on the Facebook groups. All the Facebook stuff when it comes to the Transformers, we're there. We post this stuff. So we're going to just want more fan interaction, because that's what we want this podcast to be. We want it to be a voice for the community in a way.
100%. And I'd just like to, sorry, just to interrupt, I was just going to say, like, for those of you that aren't getting the opportunity to play at the moment, say, for example, if you're not comfortable with webcamming or using Octagon, but you want to see your deck in action, hit me and Lee up with some deck. I own most of the cards, and I know Lee does as well, so you hit us up, we'll play them, we'll put them on our channel, and you can see your little creation. We'll give you some something to watch and see how your deck plays out. Even if it's just a theory, we are well up for that.
Yeah, we could easily make a series title, maybe just fan builds or something like that. Something simple that basically is like, you guys submit us decks or something and we just play it. It'll be fun to do, and it gives us more content to create, and you guys out there to get everyone's minds boggling and trying out fun stuff, because that's what we want. We don't want the same characters, horrible, and other characters being played over and over again. Optimus Prime. I'm just saying, we just want more, more stuff out there. Try some new stuff out. Preceptor. No offense, Dan. Just saying. Right. So he's everywhere. Preceptor is. Every time I seem to go on looking on like the tournament scene, I'm always like, oh, there's a Dan's card again. He seems to be quite prevalent. And so, there's Sky Shadow as well. Great. So it's good to see the same old horrible and loads of other fun stuff. You know what I mean. You know what I'm getting at, guys. We want new stuff. Let's try some new things out. So, with that being said, let's get into the meat of everything. This is probably why you've clicked on the video. We're only getting into it, probably like 25 or 20-something minutes into the podcast already. So, right, the ALPHA TRION Protocols Wave 2. Now, in Wave 1, these guys over at Vector Sigma, lovely guys, basically released 11 stratagems. And they all benefited newer characters and older characters, etc., and characters that might not really get a lot of love. So with the next design space, they went a bit bigger, which was kind of cool because you want to try and have that progression when it comes into design or anything you do. So they've done some battle cards, they've done some characters, and they've continued with more stratagems, which is awesome. So in this wave, you're going to get 10 battle cards, you're going to get 9 characters, and you're going to get 6 stratagems. So overall, you are going to get 25 new cards with this next wave, which is really cool. It's a good number, I think it's not too much just after you've just had all the arc just implode everything onto you like a giant. I forget what it was, like 90-something cards or something crazy we were saying. It's just a ridiculous amount of cards.
Yeah. It can, my order for 4 people to get a play set of everything, 1 of each bot, and then 3 each of the hall bots, and that. It came to like over 1,000 cards for 4 players. Yeah, it was crazy.
It felt like we were saying in our reviews, which is a few podcasts back, guys. If you want to go listen, it felt like a real good wave. Like it literally felt like an official wave with all the, we didn't have the joys of opening booster boxes and packets, etc. But you got all the cards, so you don't have to worry about all the STRs and stuff. You know what? I'm not going to ruin those. Go listen to those episodes if you haven't, because they're a lot of fun. Just saying is all. So Dave. Should we start? Where should we start? I'm going to open it to you because you're the new co-host. Should we start with battle cards, characters, stratagems? Where do you want to go? You pick.
Let's do the characters because they kind of feed into some of the battle cards and some of the stratagems, so you can't really sort of assess them. Sort of they'd be taken out of context if you don't know what the character does. So shall we do the characters first?
Yeah, that sounds good. Now, the big next question. Do you want to go first or second?
Well, the first one in the list is one was in your spoiler video, so shall I talk about this one?
Yeah, I would like you to. I want to get your thoughts on it, so you go.
Cool. So yeah, check out Lee's full spoiler video with these guys, because this first guy is one of his favourite teams in the franchise, and that is the Coneheads. So we're looking at, first of all, Dirge, the Feared Fighter. He is a plain melee, and there's a new trait on there, Seeker, because that's new, isn't it? This is new that they've put in.
Yeah.
He is 7 stars, and for 7 stars you get quite good stat line, I think. 5 attack, 12 health, 0 armor. So there's a bit of a trade-off. He's got a good attack in his alt mode, but obviously very low armor. Your starting star limit increases by 1 if you have only Seekers on your starting team. That's where it ties in with that new trait. This can't return to the battlefield from your KO area. So that's interesting. So no I still function, no, you covered all this, didn't you, in your spoiler? So it's
there's reasons. There's reasons why they put this on the card.
Definitely.
And it's the next bit. It's the next bit.
Because he's got a revenge ability in alt mode, which is add up to 1 battle card with no battle icons from your scrap pile to your hand. So yeah, a bit sort of, was it Skywalk from Wave 2, like returning blanks, didn't he? So
yeah, he did, yeah.
Very, very similar there. So I think his stats for the alt mode are very good, and obviously you've gone in detail on the spoiler vid. But what do you think? What have you since you've recorded that video? What do you think? Now you've had a bit of time to think a bit more about him.
I love him. I really do. There's some fun playing ideas that I've got coming possibly to a video near you soon, guys. But it involves a few from the Arc, a few from what Wizards did, and a few from what Vector Sigma have done. So it's kind of interesting, like balancing all three out. But I really like this as a character. Just kind of Dave hit pretty much everything I wanted to say really, really well. Like, I like the stats. Stats are solid. I really think it was key to put this can't return to the battlefield from your KO area, because you bring him back and then you can keep on getting that revenge trigger, which can be really powerful when it comes to 1 battle card with no battle icons. And and like I say, like 0 battle icon cards are very powerful in this game.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's the title of this podcast is one of the best ones. Can you imagine returning him every single turn and go, I'll just play 1 shall stand, 1 shall fall every turn?
I'll just keep pinging.
Or I still function every turn.
I know, it's not good.
I think that's a very good restriction on him, because that, from coming from a Magic the Gathering background prior to playing Transformers, like, you can do some crazy recursion in MTG, which is why they have Yard Hate. And obviously that's not something they would put into Transformers, because the scrap pile just circulates around all the time. So anything that can recur cards in a format where you're flipping your entire deck all the time would be too strong, because you could just build like a super silver bullet deck. So it's nice to see ALPHA TRION put that restriction on there. So you good for the alt mode, for the bot mode? Sorry, I'll go.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, go for that as well. Yeah, you do the whole thing.
Okie doke. He loses the plane trait, funnily enough, but keeps the seeker. So he gets the diving plane icon and loses the climbing one. 4 attack, point of attack, gains a point of armor. So sort of nice trade-off there. He's brave. I love brave characters. Like, I really, really like brave characters. Again, the caveat of you can't return from the battlefield from your KO area. When you flip to this mode, do 1 damage to one of your seekers and 1 damage to an enemy. That's pretty sweet as well. Particularly with like showing off. You can escape route. There's loads of extra flip things. There's what? Oh, he's melee, isn't he? So yeah, you can use the assault formation from the Arc, but yeah, there's plenty of ways of cheesing out extra damage. And he's brave, and he's gonna die, and he don't care. So yeah. he's just bloody good, isn't he? He's just really, really good.
He wants to die. He doesn't care. It's fine. No, it's really cool, because I feel like Brave was really not utilized 100% in like the last wave before it got cancelled. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, we had Megatron's head Doomshot, and how prevalent that became, quite relevant after release, like in the tournament scene, of just going, oh yeah, Brave was good, wasn't it? We kind of forgot about that. Oh, Stealth was good. Oh, I forgot about that. But it's kind of nice to have Brave on this guy. Really, really cool. When we get to one of his brothers in arms, that can just be stupid. Like, the deck I've built abuses Brave. Like, and abuse is not a nice word to say, but it uses it a lot in this deck, because it's just stupid. It's really interesting. Having a revenge ability is really cool. Like, you covered most of it. You want to have some more flips. You want to do hit and run. You want to do so much fun stuff. And when you see what the other guys do, his other brothers in arms, should we say, he fits perfectly. Like, it's like a really cool cog system. And when we get to one of the one of the guys. I'm gonna talk about it a little bit more, hopefully, but I'm not gonna take all the credit because my lovely boy Rich over at transformyourgame.net completely agree with everything he said about one of them, and I was like, that's exactly how I thought of it. And and because obviously he was part of the design team, it's kind of funny about that. So it was pretty freaking good.
Yeah, he's really cool, and it's interesting to see how they've made it so as a team. And we've already had the spoiler and the sets out, so most people probably know that you can play all three together, which is something that you were very upset about previously because the Wizards versions just couldn't fly together. So to have them all together is going to be cool. So yeah, Dirge, I think he's good. I'm definitely again going to get the set printed out, and I'm looking again. I like my planes. They're not quite as my favourite as cars, but I do like planes as well. So it'll be cool to get a fresh take on the plane archetype that doesn't involve Windsweeper.
Yeah, 100%. We're going to convert you at some point, Dave. We're going to get you off the ground and into the air. That's the best one. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. We're going to try and get you. It's true, but hey, we can convert you a little bit. You know, your boy Trax is a car and a plane, so I'm just saying is all. You're halfway there.
This is true. Cool. So yeah, that's Dirge, listeners, and Lee's got the next guy.
Yes, so I've got a character that seems to be very beloved by a lot of Transformers fans, and I've got Drift Noble Warrior. So he is a car, he is melee, he is 7 stars, guys. In alt mode, his stats are 4 attack, 13 health, 0 armor, and in his stat box it states stealth against Decepticons. That's incredibly strong. So that's stealth, can't hit me. And then the next bit is pretty darn good as well. At the start of the game, do 1 damage to this. Then do 1 additional damage to this if you had a Decepticon on your starting team. So this hurts you if you play mixed kind of lineup, which is kind of cool because you do see that quite a bit. But this is trying to keep you, you know, a loyalist to the Autobots, which is really cool. But it's cars. I don't know nothing about cars. My co-hosts love cars, so I really like this. I prefer him in his other mode more than anything. But I'll let you chime in, Dave, because you're the car fish. Should we say the aficionado? Is that the word?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I do like my cars. It's cool. It's all good. At least I'm not drinking tonight. I've been teetotal for a whole month, so for charity, it's all for charity, mate.
It is.
So yeah, Drift, aka Deadlock, and he joins the Autobots, doesn't he? In the comic.
Yeah, he does.
So
yeah.
I think they've nailed the flavour there, from a perspective of like the Decepticons really hate him for leaving them. So he takes on the mantle as Drift, and he gets given the sword. I can't remember it. It's been a while since I read the comic, but like he's really cool. And from a gameplay perspective, 7 stars is a really sweet spot because we don't have many what I'd call amazing 7-star cars. We've got really good 8-star cars. We've got really good 9-star. We've got really good 5-star cars now with Bumblebee from the Ark. But seven's like you got Smokescreen. I'm struggling to think of another. How much is the new Sideswipe and Sunstreaker from the Ark? Are they 8?
I want to say they're 8. I think
they're 8 or 9. I can't remember off the top of my head because I've not built them yet because I don't want to scare Claire too much with Sideswipe. But 7, she'll probably take the deck anyway and beat me with it. So, but Drift seems to fit that 7-star spot really nice. And like you say, it keeps you on flavour. You know, Autobots and Decepticons have worked together, but not very often because they're ideologically different. So it's really cool to see that flavour on the alt mode. But then his bot mode is amazing. So, you know.
It is ridiculous. So just to quickly chime in with the art cards, Sunstreak is 8 stars. Sideswipe is 7.
Oh, so we do have a really amazing 7-star card. Oh, okay.
So yeah, we do have.
Sorry, Matt. I forgot his star cards. But
sorry about the good guy.
But the thing is, you can have 7. You could have Drift from this set. Sideswipe for 7. That's 14, 22, and 3-star cards. If you played Sunstreaker, yeah, that seems savage.
Seems pretty savage. Not gonna lie. Seems pretty good though. All the flash, all the bling bling with that. So. In bot mode, this has got me smiling from ear to ear. So obviously he loses the car trait, guys, because he goes to melee. His bot mode, he keeps 4 attack, still got 13. He gets a point of armor. So similar like Dirge, in bot mode, he gains the armor. But the text in the box is so good. So, casually, you may play Master Sword on this character in an empty weapon slot. Now, if you don't know, with Master Sword, you have to replace a weapon to get that upgrade. You don't with Drift now. You don't. You just go like, oh, yeah, I can, that's just going to happen. It's pretty darn good. And then when you flip to this mode, you may do 2 damage to this. So you're going to do 2 damage to Drift, right? And then if you do, this can attack untapped enemy Decepticons as though they were tapped this turn. So the trade-off here, let's think about this. You get a Master Sword on him, so that you're already at 8 attack. You do 2 damage to yourself. Then you can attack an untapped character, maybe one of the big boys that your opponent's using if it's a Decepticon. So, let's just think. Horrible. You can go hit Horrible for like 8 damage plus your flips, etc. I love it. It's super theme. He is a samurai. He's awesome. Dave, your thoughts?
Pretty much everything you just said. And it's kind of like a cliche to say that, but yeah, Master Sword going on is amazing. That's arguably one of the more powerful weapons in the game because of the +4 attack. And it doesn't scrap itself, so unlike the other +4 weapons we've got in the game at the moment, which is Grenade Launcher, which obviously doesn't stay on, and Cosmic Rust Cannon from the Ark, which you're going to shoot yourself with, to keep having Master Sword being played on him is really strong. It's also very theme. It's very theme because he does have that sword. So I love it. I think it's really good. His, bearing in mind effectively his starting health is 12 because he takes the damage to himself already. So if you shoot yourself on your first flip to bot mode, you drop him down to 10 health, but then you can play silly repair cards because I'd never do that. And yeah, having Legendary Bees ability for attacking Decepticons is cool. And again, it's theme. So not only is it good mechanically and it's strong, I won't lie, this is a strong card. It's got the powerfulness that you expect from the ALPHA TRION Protocols because obviously they're gearing their sets for competitive play.
Yep.
But it's also touching on the theme as well. So it's not just purely mechanical, whereas maybe, I love Perceptor and he's really good, but he's a mechanically powerful card that doesn't really feel that much on point for theme, if that makes sense. Yeah. Whereas Drift really does. So it's nice to see the card design evolve from Dan and the team at Vector Sigma. Because obviously Dan comes from a Magic the Gathering background, doesn't he? So yeah. It's nice to see him take Magic the Gathering ideas from Perceptor and then really develop, because I know he's grown to love the franchise as he's got into it. So it's nice to see that theme running through the cards, 100%. He's awesome. This guy is gonna see play on my table without a doubt. I love cards. Like I said, I wanted decent 7-star cards, and now having this and the options from the Ark is going to make cars sick.
Yeah, I really like him. I feel like when we're looking at other cards that don't get a lot of use due to the fact that how can they really work, like I see the possibilities of adding shoulder holster to this guy, because you can just put a Master Sword and go, hey, I can have another upgrade on him maybe later, which could be a grenade launcher or something, or another Master Sword. That'd be hilarious. So he just comes at you with dual katanas. That'd be hilarious. Yeah, I really like him. He's super theme. Obviously, if you've read More Than Meets the Eye, you know what happens to him. So fun times. So it's really, really cool. Like, I really like it. And it's kind of cool to see, like, we keep always bringing it up in our previous podcasts. Decepticons kind of finished the game incredibly strong over Autobots. This is an incredibly strong Autobot, which is kind of cool to see because they need some love. Come on, let's be honest. Yeah. The goodies need some help sometimes, even though, the villains are always pretty cool. Just saying, you need to have the goodies be good.
100%. I think it's a nice counter to Horrible, who just sits plinking away until like it's the end of the wheel. Quake, who just sits behind the other characters. Do you know what I mean? It's really nice to see that design space filled, because there's not many characters that have that ability to attack untapped
100%.
characters. There's only, I think, 2 official ones and 2 fan-made so far, including this
we're
one.
looking, Razor Claw, Bumblebee Legendary Warrior, and then we've got, Galvatron.
Yeah, from the Unicron Raid, and then Drift.
Yeah, Unicron Raid, and then Drift, there you go.
So it's cool. It's really, really nice to see that design space filled. So I like a lot.
It's pretty darn good, I'm not gonna lie. So, Dave, let's move on to another Autobot with a very familiar name. I'm just saying, is all.
Yeah, it's that whiny little git, Huffer.
If Megatron succeeds here, he'll be impossible to beat on Cybertron.
But we're not fighters like they are, Prime.
We must have courage, Huffer.
My arm! It's jammed in here! I can't get it out!
I'll get you loose. Don't panic.
There's 2 things I really hate, Braun.
What are they?
Fire and water.
Great. You're in the right place.
Yeah, man, this guy nails on a chalkboard with his voice. Like, seriously.
I know completely. It's nice to see, again, it's a different take on a character, because this character was in the Arc Wave 1 at 6 stars, and quite different in abilities and where they've taken the card. So I like it. I think it's a different take. He's a 5-star truck, and he's a good 5-star truck. You know, the other trucks of that kind of star cost are sort of the patrol one. So it's interesting to see their take on this.
Patrol and Brawn, isn't it? Yeah, Patrol and Brawn.
Yeah, pretty much. So we've got Huffer, the construction engineer. He is a truck, funny enough, ranged, which is unusual because quite a few trucks are melee. So it's been nice from your formations to have that ranged keyword on there, the trait. 4 attack, 9 health, 1 armor. And we've got a new keyword, so not only are they bringing us cool characters, they're giving us new game mechanics, like the Horde mechanic from the Ark. We've got a new one, it's Sturdy. So obviously none of us really know what this does, so let's read the reminder text, and it's: when a Sturdy character would take damage from an opponent's card, it takes that much damage -1 instead.
Yeah.
That seems really good.
Yeah. So, thinking of this, because it says opponent's card, right? And talking to Dan about it, that also means your Transformer card as well as battle cards. So,
Correct.
Unfortunately for some, the old Shockwave, wah, 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 wah. Your marksmanships, wah, 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 wah. Camion crashes, wah, 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 wah. You know, all the stuff that does initial damage, it's just kind of, you don't do anything. Like, this guy, Huffer, hilariously enough, gives the middle finger to Horrible, which is great.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Like armed hovercraft, your favourite.
Yeah, everything stops.
You know,
Javelins, it minuses, so, you know, it's only doing 1 damage, but still, you know, it makes powerful cards less powerful. Like, it's really good.
It makes it a pain in the arse to get rid of. You know, if you think, like, you sort of tag team this guy with Brawn, who's really good offensively in a mixed pip deck, you know, you can build your deck a certain way. Like you say, it's not just battle cards which are -1 damage, it's their bots when they're attacking Huffer. They're going to do 1 less damage. So if you can build some kind of mixed pip, tough, boldy kind of thing, so you've obviously got Brawn's going to benefit from flipping loads of cards and flipping all the colours, and then you can have Huffer on the defence, blocking a stack of it and then taking 1 less because he's sturdy. That's pretty solid. And at 5 stars as well, very, very efficiently priced. You know,
yeah, he can just literally stand. He can survive. He can survive big hits. Like, I'm hitting you for 9, so you die. No, I got sturdy, so you only hit me for 8.
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
you live. How dare you?
Yeah, I've just had a vision. Obviously, he's got that irritating voice, just like Nelson from The Simpsons.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. Like, you couldn't kill Huffer. Insert Nelson voice here.
Exactly. So yeah, really nice to see a new keyword in the game, and it's good to see them developing the game from the foundations that we had from Wizards. So flipping over to bot mode, he is ranged. No change to the attack. He gains an armor, but he loses sturdy in bot mode. But he does have, when you flip to this mode, draw a card, then scrap a card from your hand. So anyone that plays Magic the Gathering, that's just Merfolk Looter, and that's a good ability because you can pitch cards into your scrap that you want to then recur with other characters. So that's good, and again, showing off anything like that, so it's going to be really hilarious with him.
Yeah, I love him. I think it's really funny, so I'm just going to throw it out there just from a design aspect, already looking at it. We're on the third character, and all the characters seem to gain more armor when they're in bot mode, which is really, really cool so far. But yeah, like I say, I feel like it could be really interesting. He's ranged. Everyone knows, if you don't know already, favorite class is ranged. I just love ranged characters. Card draws pretty cool. Then scrapping cards from your hand could be really interesting to have him work really well in that dreaded card that everyone hated for a long time. Daring Escape could be really interesting, like bringing that back to the fold because everyone forgot about that card when they banned cards. So just saying, is all. I really like him.
I think he's cool. I think something as well that's worth mentioning is his rarity as well. Now, obviously, why are they printing rarities on these characters? And that it's for the alternate formats that are played. And one of those that Dan, we had a bit of a chat when I was sort of getting my spoiler card from him, and we discussed, and he was like, I really want to push the Junkion format. So we're injecting characters for Junkion. So that's interesting that he's a common, and I think he's an incredibly good common for that format. So you're going to see him lined up with Brawn, because Brawn's a common as well. There's some really good common trucks. I think he's going to see a lot of play in that environment.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's bringing trucks back to the fourfold, which is really cool. And the funniest thing about it is you can run both Huffers because they've got different names, so it's pretty darn good.
I know, which would be mental. I don't know if any. Obviously, we still don't really know what's going to be taking shape when the real world resumes. When hopefully we can all meet up in person again and play face to face. Obviously, what the tournament, the tournament format's going to be moving forward. So it'd be interesting to see whether communities allow mix and matching. At home, obviously you can do what you want, but obviously it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out in the wider community. What cards get adopted and almost like, in inverted commas, official part of the tournament circuit.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'll allow it whenever I run tournaments, just because I would hilariously laugh going, oh, it's a double Huffer list. That's fun. And loads of other fun stuff like that. So I'm 100% behind community created stuff. So if you ever come to a tournament that I'm running, trust me, you can bring your community stuff because I'm super excited. When that will be, who knows, because of this lovely corona. We're just living day to day right now with whatever comes our way with that lovely word. So anything else you want to talk about with Huffer, Dave?
No, I think we've covered all the bases, so it's on to the next one, and it's you to tell us all about this one. And this is an interesting one.
This guy's bonkers good. So obviously one of the things when it came to the playtesting, because I was there at the beginning, but I didn't really do a ton of playtesting in this wave, was they were really pushing combiners. How can they make combiners work, etc. And the guy we're going to talk about now is such an amazing name. I absolutely love it. So it's a Motormaster Stunticon Don. Absolutely love that name. Now, obviously, Motormaster, leader of the Stunticons. So on here, his keywords are leader, Stunticon, truck, and melee. We go down in alt mode. He's got 3 attack, 12 health, 3 armor. Wow, 3 armor, guys. But he's 8 stars, so he's increased. So obviously you have the Wizards one, and then you have this one. But there's reasons why, guys, and that's what we're going to get to in the text box right now. So when the game begins, choose a different Stunticon character you own from outside the game that isn't Motormaster Stunticon leader. Put it into your KO area in alt mode, fully damaged. So the trade-off, you take this big boy, you get 1 Stunticon in your KO area fully damaged, so you're already kind of feeling where they're going to be going with the design aspect for this. The next bit, your other Decepticons can't take non-attack damage from your opponent's cards. So, there's an ability that you can use if you were going to just build a Decepticon list and you just wanted to throw Motormaster in there. Because you get a free Stunticon in your KO area, but it obviously is fully damaged. But you can bring that back, obviously, with I Still Function and stuff like that. And, you know, that can be really cool. But, you know, basically saving Decepticons from non-attack damage, like those pesky cards we've already talked about already, pretty darn good. So, Dave, your thoughts on the leader of the Stunticons?
Yeah, he's an improvement on the other one. Very similar, and I think with the non-attack damage from your opponent's cards, that's something that the other Motormaster had.
Yeah.
So, it was, you know, I quite often would shoehorn 5-star Motormaster into my truck decks just to stop people from, like, no names Lee, from javelining my characters and stuff like that.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
You know, yeah, but it's nice to see. It's kind of touching on like how Volcanicas work, but Volcanicas work very badly. This is kind of like, well, you can take this guy, and Optimus Maximus was the other one, and obviously this is more in line with that. Choosing one of your bots. So probably like the rubbish one, was it Off-Road in the Stunticons? Just he's kind of like, he's there, but like he's not got the best abilities as you know. Whereas you know you always want to break down and dead end and drag strip. Just, you know, put him in the KO area. So you kind of, yeah, you're going 4 wide rather than 5, but you're getting a better version of Motormaster. I think I like what they've done with this, and obviously if you do the maths, you're going to have 2 spare stars, and we'll come to what those stars can be used for later in the episode. But yeah, I like him. He's got a little bit more health. 3 armor's nothing to sniff at. Yeah, he's cool. He's cool. So what's he doing bot mode?
So bot mode gets a bit more crazy. I love it because I really like Motormaster as a character. So it's really cool to have him as a beef boy because you can take him on his own as well, which is really cool. So obviously, he loses the truck because he's transformed. Obviously, guys, he's a leader. Stunticon melee. His attack goes up by 1, and he loses 1 armor. So obviously, there's the downside of going to bot mode. But key is what's in the text box, guys. So we have your other Decepticons can't take non-attack damage from opponent's cards. So he keeps that ability when he's in bot mode. That's really useful. But the next bit is the kicker. When one of your Stunticons with 5-star or fewer attacks and you flip at least a orange and a blue, you may flip that character to another mode. This is going to get the synergy of getting your characters to get into the right mode quick enough to get into the big boy. So obviously, if you didn't know, Stunticons, they transform into Menasor. That ability there gets all your Stunticons to get into the bot mode to then go, oh, I've got the Enigma, let's get to the big boy right away. I absolutely love it.
I inclined to agree. That's one thing that they've always struggled with, combiners, particularly from a competitive, you know, they're great fun to just play on the kitchen table, they really are, but competitively outside of Superion, and even then now, you don't see him now, he's not been part of the meta for a while. You know, the other ones just didn't really see play, and it was that kind of drawback of like, you've got to, you know, slowly, you know, five flips, you know, yeah, you can sort of speed it up with rapid conversion, but that's like not a great card in the deck late game once you've combined. So it's just nice to see that it's part of the leader, that's part of the thing he does, sort of getting them transformed into the right modes quicker. And I like how they've carried the ability from the flip side onto this side as well. So in the previous iteration of him, he lost that ability and he gained, when he takes damage, you may have one of your other Stunticons take damage or something similar. Can't remember exactly. But he's good, and I think it's an improvement. Like I say, there is a trade-off. You're only going to go 4 wide, but you should get into Menasor quicker.
Right, so everyone knows I love big boys, I love combiners, I love titans. So the one thing I can flat out talk about without like ruining a little bit of the flavor. So obviously there's so many combiners in the games already. We're going to get to another one a little bit later, which is really cool, which helps out an Autobot one. This helps out a Decepticon one. When it came to the design aspect, like talking to Dan again, so shout outs to my boy Dan, Predaking and Devastator. When they had these kind of like things going, it was incredibly strong. Just because like Predaking hits like a Mack truck. Really, really strong. Devastator, getting to Devastator quite quickly, kind of devolves the purpose of the tower. So it's kind of unfortunate. So their design aspect going forward is like it might change with other like combiner teams, which is kind of interesting because when we get to the other guy later, which I'm going to have to keep on not saying his name yet. It's kind of interesting, which is really, really cool because I think he has similar abilities to what Motormaster has to get to the combiners quicker because, like Dave says, when you were playing combiners, it was really fun to finally form your big boy on 5 health. Yeah. It's really worth it. You know, it was stupid. It was pointless because you were like, these things are supposed to hit hard. And with these cards and with some of the stuff that's in this set as well, really brings like combiners to the forefront. Like even the Arc, like Bruticus is brutal, which is nice to see.
Yeah,
insane is probably the best way.
Like if you've not seen Bruticus in action, check out one of the games on the Energon Hustlers because he lives up to his name. It is brutal. How good that combiner is really, really brilliant to see. And I love the combiners, but like you've already said, quite often to make them work and not be on just 5 health once you find a combiner, you had to run them blue, which meant a lot of tough and a lot of other stuff. And as the Black Pip and Piers became prevalent, it just wasn't a viable strategy. You just couldn't do it. So even the one that was played in the meta has just completely disappeared. Yeah. So I want more, you know, I like my big characters as well. I have a real soft spot for Menasor because as a child, the only combiner team I had, all of them, was Menasor. I had the Stunticons. I think I got them for Christmas one year and I was over the moon. So to have something that's pushing them to be better, I'm fully behind, you know, and the Arc have done it with Bruticus, and I think ALPHA TRION are doing an equally interesting, different take on making them better. So yeah, these are going to be printed and put on my table, 100%.
Yeah, because I'm really excited because I feel like combiners need to really come back because obviously, you know, we've got really strong characters in the Titans. Our boy Triptychon is not quite there yet, but still there's stuff out there that's helped him. Obviously, you have to design a little bit around him, but, you know, Scorponok, obviously from the Arc, and Fortress Maximus and Metroplex are really decent. Like, they're pretty strong, and they should be because they're about the size of cities, for goodness sake. So these guys should hit hard, and with the additions they've added in this, should we say, this lovely set, I'm excited to just dust off some combiners and go, hey, I remember these guys being fun. So I'm excited. I'm excited. And going back to his cost, he's only 8 stars, and you don't even have to run him as a combiner, guys. You don't have to run him with the combiners. He's actually pretty solid. Like, stats-wise, he might not be hitting hard enough with 3 and 4, whatever, but stopping those damage cards and having 3 armor in the ult mode and, you know, 12 health isn't, you know, not a shoddy health pool. You know, he can be viable if you wanted to build something different for a Decepticon build, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, he's a great cyborg character. Like, oh my god, they've got that horrible nonsense. I side in Motormaster, and that just turns off a character completely. So I think not only is he pushing combiners, but he's also very relevant where the game is currently in a meta perspective. So I think, yeah, great card. Gonna use it. 100%. 100%.
Okay, Dave, let's get on to the 5th character. What have we got?
Well, you mentioned this guy earlier about what you've been brewing, and it's Raider Overkill.
So good.
Really interesting to see the Spy Patrol carried on in a fan-made set. So, like the Arc went back and did some mini cassettes, ALPHA TRION have done the Spy Patrol, which is cool. So he's Raider Overkill, the Havoc Reeker. He's a tape, So he's obviously reached Earth by this point. He's 0 attack, which is kind of standard for these types of characters. 11 health, so comparable to Rumble.
Yep.
3 armor.
Yep.
Yowza.
Yep.
That's good stats. He is 7 stars though, so he's the most expensive Spy Patrol character.
Yeah, he is. He's up there. Yeah, he's definitely up there.
Ratbat's 6 and Rumble's 6, aren't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a tankier one. So you're paying a star more for that. He's got really good revenge ability. I've always found with these revenge abilities, and his revenge ability is draw 2 cards. I always find my cassettes or my Spy Patrol always ended up dying when they're in bot mode because I've flipped them to bot mode to swing. So I never seem to get enough mileage out of the revenge abilities, apart from possibly you could PTT this one.
Yeah.
Or use some of the other new cards, Survival of the Fittest from the Arc, for example, to kind of abuse that mechanic, to flip back and then play that card. And you're like, well, I've just got 2 more cards and an extra turn. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Pretty good.
What are your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, I love it. I really like it. Yeah, I think Spy Patrol are really, really strong because obviously with that sound wave, having the ability to untap all your Spy Patrol people and get another swing in can be incredibly strong. And with his stats and his other side, which you're going to talk about in a second, he's really, really good. I really, really like him. And who doesn't like a cassette that turns into a dinosaur? Come on, seriously, guys.
I know.
So, Dave, bot mode.
Bot mode. So he gains the Beast trait, which is interesting, and melee. Obviously, I'm talking about interesting from a mechanical aspect rather than, obviously he's a dinosaur, he's going to be a beast, isn't he? But from the keyword and the trait there is interesting because it really synergizes with some other cards from the Arc. You've got what was my mind's gone blank. It was the card I spoiled as well. Was it Beast mode?
I believe so. I'll let you keep talking and I'll find out all the stuff. It's all good.
So yeah, again, if you do match sets, like giving this guy bold 4 against a character in bot mode, it's gonna be horrible. So back to the actual card itself. He's 4 attack, 11 health, 2 armor in bot mode. Tough 2, which is cool. Kind of fits in line with what Soundwave normally tries to do, which is be a bit stealthy and a bit sneaky in blue. He's also got a revenge ability in this mode, so not only in the cassette mode, he's also got it for this mode, which is great because that's something like I just said. I always struggle to get the revenge abilities off, but his revenge ability is put an enemy upgrade on top of its owner's deck, so it's pretty much hard removal. It's like, okay, get rid of that, and now it's going to flip away on my next turn when I attack you. He's just very solid for 7 stars, and he's going to round out that team nicely. Like you said, you can have cassette Soundwave with 2 mini cassettes, get the 2 extra stars, and then have this guy as your other character on the board at the start. Lead with him, and he's got tough 2. Seems pretty good.
Yeah, I really like him. I think obviously it's building towards that lovely blue aspect of what the big man himself, Soundwave, used to love. But I will let you know, Dave, you are right. Beast mode, bold 4, orange card, very good from the Arc. And also, I believe it was Feral Tenacity, another orange card from the Arc, which basically, if he takes a point of damage, gets +1 attack. So if you look at that, you can really hit really hard. Obviously, if you're building a blue deck, if we're going to say the horrific card's name, Belligerence, or as I like to call it, the B word, he can hit really, really hard with obviously beast mode and a few other things. But yeah, I really like it. Tough 2. The revenge, obviously, putting an enemy upgrade on the top of its owner's deck can be really powerful, especially when you're going, right, I'm going to hit that guy, but you can put that, horrific armor on top that you can't get. Or, oh, I don't really like that utility. You can put that utility on there. Oh, look, you can't pick it up again. That's great. He's really good. He's very, I think he can really abuse that as well, obviously, with
I still function.
Yeah, that's the card. I still function.
Wait, I still function.
With the revenge on either or, which is kind of cool. So if you want your cards, go to alt mode. If you want to stop people's things kicking off like enemy upgrades, you can put him in this mode and then just get rid of him. It's really good. Love it. 7 stars I don't think is too much. because obviously he's going to stick around, because if you keep him obviously in alt mode, he hasn't got stealth, but he's got 3 armor. But, you know, there's ways to make this guy really, really horrific. He's got 11 health, which is kind of scary, but at the same time, there's ways of building Soundwave, who works with the Sky Patrol really well with later wave cards as well as the art cards. There's ways. I feel like this guy is definitely going to see some action, because obviously I've already built a deck with him. I feel like going forward, yeah, you can really get some longevity with him as well. So he's really good.
Yeah, he's very cool. Really like him. So, who have you got next?
Right. Yeah.
It's your boy.
Okay. The card that made me go, yes, golf claps all day. Right. So I'm going with the next card, which is Ramjet Hellish Hooligan. Again, sharing the traits with his boy Dirge. He's a Seeker. He's plain. He's melee. In alt mode, he's got 6 attack, 15 health, and 2 armor. It's a 15 health, guys. That's a big number, but also the star cost, another big number, 13. So he's 13 stars, guys. Now, in the text box, this cannot flip to another mode except with his own ability. So you cannot abuse...
Wait, I still function.
So you can't keep abusing abilities. At the start of your turn, if this is your only character on the battlefield, flip him. So you automatically flip him if he's the last remaining guy. And then, when he's in this mode, when this attacks, move a damage from one of your Seekers to an enemy. So obviously, he has the ability of Slipstream for 13 stars. But there's a reason why. There's a reason why it's 13. So, Dave, just initially on that side of the card, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, he's cool. He's kind of similar to, from, you know, the Wave 1 Ramjet was a bit of a beast when he had 7 attack, wasn't it, in alt mode?
Yep.
There's something terrifying. So it's nice to see that he's kept that high attack value whilst he's a plane. It's a high star cost, but I think that's fair for what you're getting. You know, 15 health is in, you know, it's high enough to be relevant, I think, but, you know, you look at some of the newer characters that are kind of like 17 health, 20 health, like Captain Jetfire, Rodimus Prime from the Ark and that. So I think, you know, 13 stars for 15 is good. I love the flavour. It's like literally, whilst Dirge and Thrust are doing all the work, he's just flying around, hitting buildings and just being a bit of a hooligan. So I like,
it's 100%.
I just love it. I think, you know, again, from a flavour perspective, that's just what Ramjet does. I just sort of fly into stuff. What are you going to do, Ramjet? You're going to shoot them? No, I'm going to fly into them. Hit them really hard with my nose. So yeah, really interesting. And the Slipstream, we all know Slipstream's ability is very good. We all know Windsweeper's ability is very good. So that's nice to see the plane theme of damage movement kept going with him. So yeah, like, he's really cool. But I think it's what he does really with the rest of the team. Obviously, we've talked about Dirge, just the way he synergizes. So we'll once we looked at Thrust, we'll probably like talk about them all together as the three cogs of the wheel sort of thing. But yeah, what's he doing in alt mode? Sorry, not alt, bot mode.
In bot mode, okay, so obviously he's transformed, so he loses the plane trait, but he keeps the Seeker and the melee. So keywords are going to come to in a second in the text, but he goes to 7 attack, still got 15 health, and he's still got 2 armor. So his armor's changed, but his attack goes up by 1 in bot mode. Cool beans. Now, the text states, this cannot flip to another mode. Period. Done. You cannot flip him. When he goes to this bot mode, you are keeping in bot mode. That's very, very key. Now, when this defends, do 1 damage to the attacking enemy after the battle. That's very interesting when it comes to people. If you put Brave on this guy, just saying how you can just keep doing 1 damage to attacking enemies. It's pretty strong. Now, when you flip to this mode, so obviously you can only flip him once when he gets to this mode, guys. When you flip to this mode, you may play an upgrade from your scrap pile. So you can just go search some really big, horrific upgrade and play it. You don't even have to put it on Ramjet. You can put it on either Thrust or Dirge or whoever else you take with this guy. That's incredibly awesome. I love him. I really like him. And exactly what Rich stated in the ALPHA TRION Protocols when they talked about the whole design aspect of the thing, he feels like an end-of-boss kind of character, which he does, because he is a beast. He just feels like, yeah, like an end-boss kind of like video game thing, which Rich stated from transformyourgame.net. I absolutely love Ramjet. He's a complete hooligan. He's awesome. Yeah, I've got to stop nerding out because I love the cone heads uncontrollably. So, Dave, your thoughts?
Yeah, he is very strong, like incredibly strong. That, you know, obviously you've got to have the right things in your scrap at the time when you flip. So if you get really unlucky and you've just reshuffled, you're going to be a bit sad. But that situation is so rare that there's normally going to be something you want to do. Like, can you imagine, there's a grenade launcher there, I'll just put that back on him and I'll whack you for 11. And it's when he battles, like, I don't know if the text has changed, because I've got the images from the PDF, and my version of Ramjet, I've got my screen, says when this battles, which is attacking and defending, do 1 damage to the battling enemy.
Oh, mine might have changed then. I might have got an older card, probably from the spoil video. Okay. I have an older version.
So that's significant. That is significant because it's almost like I attack you, I ping you, I've got a grenade launcher back, and I'll bop you for 11 plus what I flip. He's going to yeet someone into next week. So yeah, he's, you know, dare I say, his OPBL level of power on that one turn, and that is frightening from a plane.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. That's
Definitely.
very, very good.
But balance, because you can't flip, you know. So he's going to be Johnny No Mates, isn't he? By the time you've got to Ramjet on his own, he is going to be on his own. So he's going to have to pull some weight. So if you've been a bit under the cosh early and lost thrust and dirge, you're going to need to swing that tide back. So yeah, he's going to come in for one hell of an attack. So yeah, he's very, very, very strong. I'd say top end from this set is definitely one of the most powerful characters we looked at.
Yeah, I've just pulled up the PDF for the ALPHA TRION Protocols. Yeah, so obviously, guys, I have the older card because, like they stated in their video and what they've told me multiple times, and I mentioned it a little bit in the video, they changed designs multiple times on these guys because the synergies were a bit bonkers, I'm not going to lie. So, yeah, I absolutely love it. Now, there's reasons why he's 13, because obviously the keyword Seeker there, obviously we're going to talk a little bit later when we bring up his final compadre. But, yeah, he does some really interesting things because obviously when you run them as a team, when you run thrust and dirge, you then -2 to it goes to 11, so you can run all of them. But the design space is, if they're going to make more Seekers in the future, there's a reason why he's at 13, because they want other stuff that they're probably going to do. So you can't have, oh yeah, you remember that crazy character we made? Yeah, they can work together and be like, oh God, no, that just seems mental. Yeah. So it's for future design space, which is really, really cool, which Absolutely. I think is fair cost as well. For 13 stars, you know, it's not too bad with the cheap planes that we've got, you know, from the Ark and from Wizards and from, you know, these guys as well. You know, you can get some cool synergies going, and it's really, really cool.
Absolutely. And like you say, 13 stars, but that's the same as OPBL. So, you know, I think that's a fair star cost for the power level. And yeah, it's future-proofing, and that again shows foresight, doesn't it? You know, and I think the same can be said of the Ark as well, and the Bayformer set. You know, I've been looking at that today. Like, it's future-proofing, and it's a good place for the design space to be. Something that sometimes wasn't maybe too apparent in the Wizards game, because obviously there was some seriously, you know, we had some emergency bannings, didn't we? Because, oh my God, like multi-mission gear is just ridiculous with Daring Escape and stuff like that. So, yep. You know, it's nice to see that future-proofing in there. So yeah, cool. Arguably, I think the most powerful character in this set.
Yeah, I would say most def. Right, let's move on from the crazy hooligan known as Ramjet. Let's move into the guy I kept hinting at, but I couldn't officially say. So, Dave, do you want to take the reins on this one?
Yeah, definitely. I actually I accidentally dropped his name earlier from saying that he had left the meta completely. But this is Silverbolt, the aerial bot commander. So this is Superion, probably the best of the initial combiners that we had, the traditional multi bot one, so like the sort of 5/6 if you want to count Sound Panda Devastator. But he's a leader, he's an aerial bot, he's a plane, he's range. So again, this is following on from the Motormaster design as well. So he's 5/12/1, so that's a really strong attack value for an 8-star plane. He's an Autobot plane as well, which is cool. And he's a cool character in the cartoon. Silverbolt was, he was nails in the cartoons. So 5 attacks, nice to see on there. When the game begins, choose a different aerial bot character you own from outside the game that isn't Silverbolt aerial bot leader, so you can't go and get the other version of him, which I quite like. So it's almost like he's unique. You can't have 2 of him if you want to go that route even. Put it into KO area of alt mode fully damage. So exactly the same design as Motormaster. So yeah, really cool. Not really much else to talk there, unless you want to add anything about him as a plane. But yeah, from a combiner perspective, he does the same thing.
Yeah, he does the same thing. There's nothing really to talk about it. Yeah, let's get straight into his bot mode then, Dave.
So his bot mode, he obviously loses the plane trait, drops an attack, gains an armor. Each of your aerial bots has Pierce 1. Well, that seemed pretty good in a deck that likes piercing anyway, because traditionally it was always a blue pierce deck.
Yep.
When one of your aerial bots with 5 stars or fewer attacks and you flip at least black-blue, you may flip that character to another mode. So again, very similar to the Motormaster flipping the orange and blue for the Stunticons. This does the same thing but for aerial bots. So it's working towards that goal of flipping your combiner team into bot mode quicker and staying within what that deck wanted to do historically as an archetype, which was be a blue, and then as Black Pip came into the game, a blue-black Pierce deck. So again, can't really say much more than that. He's gonna make those Superion decks combine quicker, and Superion was arguably the most powerful. Like his combine ability, the 3 damage is good. His bold 1, tough 1, pierce something. Can't remember off the top of my head. Pierce 3 maybe.
Yeah, I think so. I'll look it up. I will look it up. So.
You'll look it up. You're the man. Claire's stolen the laptop to do a college coursework this evening, so I'm viewing the images on my PlayStation 4 as we speak.
Love it.
So I don't really have that search function. But yeah, he's great. He's really good. He's again pushing it into a competitive way. And I'd love to see Superion at the top tables again. I'd love it. I like my combiner teams.
Yeah, 100%. So Superion, when combined, he has bold 1, tough 2, pierce 3. So there you go. We're right with the pierce. Yeah, I love it. Like, we can keep humming and ahhing about like combiners all day. I can, because I absolutely love them. Superion is probably definitely up there, and so was before the card got banned, Optimus and Maximus was still up there. Sentinels was really, really interesting until I forget which one.
Was it Swap Parts? Was it Swap Parts?
I think it was Swap Parts. I think it was.
Yeah, that's before my time within the game. I started at Wave 3, so fortunately, I never experienced any of that shenanigan.
It was great. I absolutely love Swap Parts. It was never broken until people broke it. Just saying is all.
I think that's just endemic from a card gaming community. That just happens an awful lot, doesn't it? People are like, oh, if we do this, this, and this, it'll break it. And they go, oh, sad. No, you banned it.
But the game's dead, so you can start playing Swap Parts again, and people forget about Swap Parts.
Do you know, you say that, and we're digressing slightly here, but I've been thinking that about Press the Advantage. Because
it's still pretty good.
It was oppressive before we had Sky Shadow, Horrible, and the other nonsense, Quake and all that. I don't think Press the Advantage is as bad now, and the meta is way more orange based, so the lack of the -2 armor it's not as bad, because your characters go down quick anyway, because you're aggro versus aggro a lot of the time. So yeah, it's
true.
Yeah, digression aside, that's Silverbolt. I think we'll, once we, again, like Motormaster, once we've seen and looked at all the different cogs of what's going to make these combiners better, we'll kind of touch on them as a competitive thing in a bit. So on to the next, and this is an interesting one for you.
Yeah, I forgot about this guy. Right, okay. So we have another Soundwave, guys. And this is Soundwave Intelligence Coordinator. He is a leader, he is a truck, and he's a specialist. Scary words all across the board there. In alt mode, he's got 4 attack, 16 health, and 2 armor, guys, and he's 11 stars. Wow. Just wow. In his text box, he's got focus 1, and also when you flip to this mode, you may scrap a card from your hand. If you do, use the revenge ability of a spy patrol or mini cassette in your KO area. Now, that is incredibly relevant for what he is in his next mode, I think. But the one thing I want to touch on before we talk about the card, Dave, I believe this is some illustration art, isn't it? It's done by, I think it's Gabe. I forget. I can't pronounce his last name. I'm terrible with names.
I'm going to zoom in.
It's Macintoshi, I think. It's MC.
Gabe McIntosh.
Yeah, Dave McIntosh. Yeah. So, yeah, I think this is some custom art they've made for this wave, which is really cool to see. So kind of similar like the arc with Jamie. They've got this guy to do some artwork, and yeah, this sound wave's ridiculous. That stat line for 11 is bonkers good. So obviously he's a bit of a beefcake because obviously you want to run mini cassettes and you want to run spy patrols with him. But in his other mode, it gets quite interesting. But before we get there, Dave, your thoughts?
To start off with, what a piece of art that is. And he's a truck. He's not a tape player. He's not a spaceship. He's a truck. Really interesting to see him as a different type of vehicle from what we've maybe classically known him as. So that's cool. And it is. Gabe, you've done a super duper job there. I like it a lot. It's kind of retaining his character. I like how his shoulder cannon from the cartoon is now like his Top Gun on the truck. So I like that. Stats for 11 stars. Okay, maybe not the highest attack and armor, but my God, 16 health. That is
Beefcake.
And say it with me! Beefcake!
Beefcake.
Beefcake!
Beefcake.
Beefcake!
It is chunky. Good abilities as well, like focus 1, and that ability when you flip, that can be abused by the showing offy type thing that we keep saying. That's really good, and it gets you some mileage, because quite often I think the problem with Revenge was you weren't getting any mileage out of those abilities, so you're kind of paying stars for that ability but never actually really getting it off, unless it was maybe Triptychon, and let's face it, Triptychon was a bit rubbish. I think he's better now with sort of lots of the new cards, and I'm looking forward to getting him on the board again, but from a Wizards of the Coast design point, he was a bit poo.
Yeah.
So like, you didn't see Revenge as a thing very much, did you? So the spy patrols that had Revenge abilities, which were Rat-Bat and Rumble, it just didn't make a dent on the game really at all. So I think that can be a real tricksy way of doing some crazy shenanigans. Once they're dead, but you didn't get it to trigger, I'll just flip them in the KO zone, and I'll showing off Soundwave. Boom, boom. Thank you very much. I'll draw 2 cards from the new chap, Overkill, and Rumble. What was Rumble? Didn't he blow up an upgrade or something, or do damage or something like that?
I think so. He did something.
I think it was damage.
I will look it up.
Yeah. Sorry, mate. You're like the administrator tonight.
I am literally that. I think that's my new catchphrase. I will look it up.
You get the old elevator music on. But no, he's really cool. I think for his star cost, definitely probably above the curve. 16 health is a lot. But then again, the rest of the team are going to be ickle-bickle guys, aren't they? They're just going to get whopped off the board. So, yeah. Yeah,
the Raider Rumble revenge ability is do 2 damage to an enemy.
So that's going to be strong with this guy. He's going to be... It's going to be good. Oh, you're on 2 health, are you, sad?
That's 17 stars already. That's 17.
You've still got enough. You've still got enough for overkill, so you're going 3 wide. This guy's a specialist as well, so if you're going to mix match, assault formation.
Yep. It's really good.
That's going to be nuts with this guy.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Bot mode, what's he do, man? Because we've gone on about the crazy alt mode. We haven't even got to the bot.
Bot mode's even more insane, guys. Just giving you a heads up. So we flip him over. Amazing artwork again, Gabe. Good shout. Looks incredible. Very different take on the very iconic character, but looks super cool. I want to say it looks very Cylon-esque from Battlestar Galactica, which I really like. So, with the stats, he goes to 5 attack, so he increases by 1. He stays at 16, and he loses an armor, so he goes from 2 to 1. Now, in the text box, for each different spy patrol or mini cassette in your KO area, this has +1 attack and +1 defense, up to 3 attack and 3 armor. So obviously that means you can't overhaul him, which is really, really strong. So there's keyworded there. That's really good. Now, the other bit, when this attacks, draw a card. Choose a different spy patrol or mini cassette you own from outside the game and put it in your KO area in either alt or bot mode, fully damaged. Wow.
Holy moly. That is insane. Just to say though, this would be a SRT if this was a real set.
Oh yeah.
So he is punching at that power level. You know, people are, oh my god, for 11 stars. But he is a super rare. And let's face it, the 2 iterations of Soundwave we previously had, they're not bad, but they're not great.
Yeah, you have to really build as a team, not as his own. With him, you can run him on your own because you don't really care about Spy Patrol people because you can just put them in the KO area, kind of like a Grimlock ability from Wave 2. But yeah, for 11, yikes, that's pretty darn good. Just saying.
Insanely good. Very, very good. And if you think about it, okay, you're probably going to be 3 wide at the start, but the ability to pump those cassettes and or Spy Patrol into your KO zone, he's going to hit that +3/+3 quite easy. So effectively, he's like 19 health monster. It's frightening. The good thing is with these digital sets though, and if people think, oh my god, that's way too OP, if it turns out to be OP, they can just change it.
Yeah.
They can errata the card, which I think is really nice because we've had that from the arc. This week they've errated one of the cards where like potential negative play experience was identified, and that's really cool. That again, that Alpha Trion can do exactly the same thing with this. It's like he is insanely good. Maybe 11's a little bit cheap. Maybe he's bordering on the 12, sort of 13 limit with those stats. But it's Soundwave. It shouldn't be average, Captain Average. He should be good.
Yeah.
He's Megatron's right hand man. He is supposed to be bloody good, and this card is.
Yeah,
definitely
100%. Really, really awesome. I like it a lot. It's really, really good. Good, awesome design space, guys. So, Dave, we are into the final character of this set.
It's the last of the terrible trio, isn't it?
It is.
It's Thrust, the boisterous brawler. Falling in line with the other chaps is Seeker, Plane, and Melee. So they're all melee, aren't they, as well, which is interesting. So unlike like Skywarp and Thundercracker, who are like, you know, keeping their distance and, you know, bombing people, these like, I'm just going to go in and fly at them, which I like. 4 attack, 10 health, 1 armor. Your starting limit increases by 1 star if you have only Seekers on your starting team. So this is the key. This is how you get all 3 in the same deck. You make it so that if you want to go full on theme, you can, but it keeps that design space appropriately costed for Ramjet for future Seekers, because let's face it, there are plenty of the Seekers. So I think we're going to see more from Alpha Trion moving forward.
Yeah.
And he's brave.
Brave.
So you got 2 characters that are there to keep Ramjet safe until the late game where you want Ramjet to punch someone really hard in the face.
Yeah, that's why I love it. Dirge and Thrust are both brave, and the brave shenanigans you can do with these guys is ridiculous. It's so good. I love it. It's a really cool design aspect because you want to keep Ramjet alive, because obviously you've seen he hits really, really hard.
Yeah, he's great. Not much else to talk about on that side. So in bot mode, he obviously loses the plane trait. He's got 5 attacks, 0 armor. So both him and Dirge are fragile. They don't have a lot in the way of defense, so unless you're going to build sort of a mixed pit deck, they're gonna go down relatively quickly. But you kind of want that anyway with Ramjet. You obviously don't want them to get yeeted, but like you don't mind so much. Each of your other Seekers has bold ones, so that's cool. Helps them hit a little bit harder. Revenge, you may play an upgrade from your scrap pile onto one of your planes or Seekers. That's cool. I like it.
Yep, it's really cool. Obviously, I got to spoil these bad boys, and the change they made is obviously Thrust was 1 attack and 1 armor in both modes. He's now gone to 0 in his bot mode, so that's really good to know. Just saying is all. It shows how these guys constantly kept changing because of how great they are, and they work really well as a synergy. So if we're going to talk about the synergies before we move on to the next kind of category of cards, you can run these 3 together, and they were designed to be ran together. So like I said in my spoiler video, thank you guys. They should work together, wizards, you fools, but they should work together, and it's really exciting to finally get to play the Coneheads, and they work really well, and they play different because the fact is they are planes, sure, they aren't ranged, but they're melee, so they're different completely to the other planes, so it gives you another aspect of that card build design that you can do with your deck. You're like, cool, they're no longer ranged, so those javelins and those arm hovercrafts are coming out. What other melee stuff can I have? Oh my gosh, they can have power swords. Oh wow, they can, they can have all these other things that give them bold. Like, it's just really cool design. What more can you ask for?
100%. And I like how they work as a team, but equally, I wouldn't be sad to have a Brave Thrust on a Decepticon plane lineup with Slipstream, for example, and then a 10-star plane. So yeah, I think they're great individually as individual characters, but they're also good, especially if you run them as the team. So they're my favourite thing in this. As much as I love the combiners, I think seeing the Coneheads, who are arguably the funny-looking planes from Series 2 of the G1 cartoon, to see them brought a bit more to the forefront is really cool. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I love them. Just go watch my spoiler video. I splurge a lot about these guys there.
You do. But I think we have, to be fair, in this as well. But
I freaking love them. It's like we've got a question later from Dan, and it's kind of ruined a little bit here. But yeah, if you're not thinking about playing these 3 together after seeing all these cards, you're crazy. You're a crazy person. To quote Will Ferrell from Zoolander.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
You must be taking crazy pills. Just saying is all. If you're not thinking of playing these guys.
That's it. Or like when he's in Old School, I like you, but you're crazy.
You're crazy. You're crazy, man. You're crazy. I like you, but you're crazy.
Yeah. I love it. I completely agree. I love it. So yeah, they're all the characters, guys, and yeah, I like all of them. I think they're really cool. They've hit everything that we want to do. Some interesting ones, like with the Spy Patrol. We've got a new sound wave, which was really cool. We got Drift, which is incredibly strong. We got Huffer with a new keyword. They're trying new things out with this wave. And I think they've done a really good job with the characters. Dave, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think they're very, very, very cool. It's nice to see the flavour injected into it. I like where they're pushing the combiners. I'll be interested to see what they do further down the line with the other teams, so the Predacons and Optimus Maximus. And really, the one that everyone wants to work, Volcanicus.
Or Devastator, just saying this all.
Devastator. He's the first combiner you see in the original cartoon. So it would be really cool to have a really good version. It's going to be tough though, because it's a 6-wide combiner team. So there's a challenge for you, Dan, and the guys at Vector Sigma. Give us a Devastator that can really, really make me smile. But no, overall the set's great. I think the only character I have concerns with on a power level is Soundwave, but they can change that if he becomes problematic. So if he is dominating all their online events, because that's what these cards are really designed for, as well as like, you know, casual players like myself that just like playing badly with his wife. You know, like we've got that flexibility, and that's something you didn't have with Wizards. You know, they didn't do that with the characters at all, but they've done it in Magic, where they just flat out write, oh, this Planeswalker's too good, ban it. You know, you could see that happening, because let's face it, in the modern age of cards, no one really likes errata on cards, because it makes it very hard to keep track of exactly what cards do, and it's not really fair on newer players that are coming into stuff. We go, actually, your card doesn't do exactly what it says it does. You know, that was a big thing with X-Wing, actually, digressing a bit. But, you know, it's nice that these digital sets can be amended and go, hey, it's all free to print and play anyway. We've updated Soundwave because we found actually he's a little bit too good. So, like I say, otherwise, I think it's fantastic. And I'm not saying I don't like Soundwave. I think he's nuts. But maybe one star too cheap. That's just me. So should we do stratagems next? Should we just delve into them, because they're kind of related to some of the characters?
Where are we going to diverse into next? Battle cards or stratagems? But yeah, let's do stratagems. So Dave, do you want me to take the first one and then we just make our way through, because there's only 6. So
yeah, go for it, dude. Go for it.
Okay, cool. We're going to kick things off then, because I've done 6 stratagems here, guys, and we're going to kick it off with the first one, which is for Lord Megatron, Conqueror of Cybertron. So obviously this is wave 4. Megatron with Bow Before Me. It's a stratagem, so it's going to cost some stars, so it's going to cost you 1 star. And it states on the card, while your Lord Megatron, Conqueror of Cybertron, has a Decepticon upgrade, he has +1 attack and +1 defense. When one of your Decepticons flips from alt mode to bot mode, each player scraps the top 3 cards of their deck. Now, just to clarify, guys, that is insane. Now, I'm saying insane because insane's a very, word to say, but if we're going to look at Lord Megs, now Lord Megs, obviously, if you got him, he was an STR, so obviously he was a bit of a beefcake.
And say it with me! Beefcake!
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 And when you played him, he played very different because of his... I believe it was his bot mode. So when your opponent reshuffles their deck, they choose one of their characters and does damage to it equal to this character. Yeah, so Megatron's attack. So most of the time, if you had a powerful upgrade on him and your opponent kept reshuffling their deck, one of their characters just immediately goes, take that much damage, and you can't stop it. He's 12 stars to begin with, guys. Including this, it goes to 13. So if we break it down, he gets +1 attack, +1 defense for each Decepticon upgrade. There's plenty of Decepticon upgrades. There's plenty out there. But the ability that makes this card insane, which I personally think it is when one of your Decepticons flips from alt mode to bot mode, each player scraps the top 3 cards. So obviously, you're wanting to try and build a tank build, and you're wanting to do all the flips in the world. So obviously your first flip, you scrap 3 cards. Then you could play Hunker Down, for example, and scrap another 3 cards. You could then play another card that does a flip. There's another 3 cards. So you're going to kind of try and push end game. I want to punch you in the face with Lord Megatron at the end, which is really, really awesome, which is what you wanted to do with him anyway. It was a very powerful mill deck, wasn't it, to be honest? So
Yeah. You know, I wasn't lucky enough to get one, but my friend who I started doing the recordings with, actually Charlie, he had Lord Megs, and it just always, it is a horrible ability, but it was hard to consistently get off, wasn't it? Because if your opponent got lucky and you were in tank mode at that point, you were sad. But like Bow Before Me, that seriously is going to hypermill the opponent's deck. So, yeah, can you imagine if you had all 3 tanks, if you go 3 wide tanks, which you can easily do, particularly with the arc tanks that cost 5, like Brawl and... is it Doomshot? I can't remember what it's called now. Oh, they're all in bot mode. I'll flip them all. Mill 9 cards. Thank you.
Yep.
I'll flip Megs back, and then, you know, yeah.
And it seems pretty awesome because then you could also play some really interesting cards, which I'm thinking off the top of my head when I'm looking at this, because I would love to play this, is Heat of Battle, allowing your opponent to have a stupid amount of tough, which they probably don't want. That's great. And then obviously, you could just do some fun, stupid shenanigans. I really like it.
Definitely.
I really, really like it.
And he definitely, again, like a lot of the Decepticons in waves 1 to 4, they sat in the shadow of their Autobot counterparts, and Megatron has definitely always sat in Prime shadow. Look at Galaxy Prime and how dominating he was prior to Wave 5 being released. He was nuts. And
100%.
Lord Megs was the sad panda in the corner. Just, I wish I was good. So, you know, like, you know, from a casual perspective, like from players like me, we loved Lord Megatron. From a tournament scene, he didn't impact. So something that makes his ability more consistent is good. And I think he's strong. But Lord Megs definitely gets a boost from this. And I think this is going to be... I don't know if
I'll play him.
Yeah, I would if I owned him. Like, I'm still trying to... I need eight characters now, and I'm done with the official bots. So
fair.
General Megs is definitely on there.
He will play.
Yeah, he'll play. Cool. So the next one, should we go on to the next? Unless you've got anything else to say.
Okay. No, I really like it. I think it's fantastic for 1 star. 13 stars, he's pretty decent, and if you build him quite interesting with other characters that, you know, rapidly get rid of cards from their hands and stuff, like, it can be really interesting. I really like it.
Definitely. So the next one is, we're touching back on our buddy Superion and Silverbolt here. This is coordinated aerial tactics for Silverbolt Aerial Bot Commander, and there's a flip side, which we'll talk about in a minute, which is for Superion. So it is a 1-star stratagem. It begins with the Silverbolt side face up, funnily enough. Each of your aerial bots has bold 1. So that's interesting because it's normally a blue deck, but it's very relevant for Silverbolt's proccing of flipping your guys quick. So that's cool. Yep. When you combine into Superion Sky Protector, flip this, at the end of your turn, now this is the huge change that they've made to these Wave 2 combiners. At the end of your turn, if you have 5 aerial bot characters in bot mode on the battlefield and or your KO area, you may combine them into Superion Sky Protector. No more enigmas for you. You just do it for the cost of a star.
Yeah, it's incredible because obviously the one thing being a combiner player, counter espionage and espionage basically gave enigmas the middle finger because you could just go green. Oh, I've got
Yeah, and quite often you'd see them tutor it from their flips anyway. You go, well, I'll pitch my improvised shield or whatever to get my enigma. Oh, my next turn, and now I know that's coming. I'll counter espionage enigma, and yeah, it's, like you say, sad times for the combiners. And I have in gameplay with one of my webcam buddies, Nazumi, I have wrecked him by ripping a enigma out of his hand before, and it shouldn't happen that way. They should be able to combine. So this gives them a way of doing it, and it does. You know, key, you can't combine mid-turn. There's a bit of balance there. It's at the end of your turn you combine. So you're not going to get the Enigma combine wallop you with a hoofingly huge bot. You have to wait a turn for that. But there's the bonus that you don't necessarily have to have the Enigmas. I would, if I was building Superion, I'd probably still run 1, and the same for Menasor. I'd probably run 1 Enigma just for that flexibility of choosing when I combine, but obviously the goal would be to combine at the end of your turn.
Yeah, I completely agree. It was always a thing with combiners, trying to figure out the right time to combine. With these stratagems, no issue at all. You know exactly when you want to do it. The acceleration is there. I know you can probably get this off maybe turn 2, turn 3 if you're lucky, if you've got the right cards, etc., and you've got the right flips. You know, it can be very interesting having, you know, obviously we're talking about Superion here, like Superion on the battlefield with a lot of health and how much he punches for can be quite scary. And obviously the other side of the stratagem scares me a lot when he gets to that mode. So, Dave, because it's a dual side one, What's the dealio?
This, like you say, is scary. So it reads, this stratagem now applies to your Superior Sky Protector, which is cool. The first time you would do non-attack damage to exactly one enemy during your turn, instead do that much damage +1. So that means turn you combine Superior shoots 4.
Yeah.
That's big damage. That's big direct damage. There's not many cards that do that. Grapple, I'm thinking, I can't think of anything else that does 4 damage in the game. Don't think so.
Yeah, it is. I'm just trying to think, because you've got so obviously marksmanship is 2, so then it will go up by 1 if you play it on the first time for that turn. So obviously when he combines, he does 3 damage. He's going to do 4 damage. That's really strong.
That is very, very strong. Like I say, I think
very strong.
It's only grapple, and that was always the effort doing it. As much as I love my boy grapple, like it was hard.
It's true. We love grapple on this podcast. If you don't love grapple, again, we're gonna say
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
You're taking crazy pills. Thank you, Will Ferrell. Thank you. So yeah.
It says here as well, at the start of your turn, if your Superior Sky Protector has at least 30 damage, draw a card. So you're going to try and hopefully find the goods to stabilise. +1 attack, so he's 8, if memory serves, with this. And this is the huge bit, +4 health, so 43 health combiner.
Yeah, so with the strat, which scares you the most, is you punch him for 7, and then if everything's healthy, which most of the time it isn't, to be honest, let's think, you have 39. You're probably not going to be at 39. You're going to have a little bit of damage, because obviously if you're playing the proper Silver Bolt now from this wave, you're starting with some damage on you because you have a fully damaged aerial bot in your KO area. So it isn't too shabby, and seeming there's cards that can heal really well, and also there's some amazing bonkers card called Resilience in the Arc, which really helps out combiners. You know, it can be a really horrible combo. Obviously, you can only use Resilience like once because it goes into your KO area. But obviously, you know, repairing 5 and just going, yeah, you know, I'm all right with that. You know, it's pretty darn good. I'm not going to lie. You can put a toolbox on this guy and do some stupid shenanigans. You know, it's crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's insanely strong. And again, if you're going to mix and match, that is very, very... It's going to be an auto-include. So not having to take the Enigmas means you can play the Green Pip Resilience in its place, which is fantastic.
Yep.
It's making Superion potentially relevant again. I'm not going to say I'm 100% sold on combiners being back there at the top of the meta game, but I think once we start seeing this played, having a free pocket processor if you're on 30 damage is insanely good. The extra damage is insanely good. +1 attack is nice, and the +4 health is really good. And the flip side of this, where you're accelerating into that combine, I think we are going to see at least people try them, because let's face it, they're cool. One of the coolest parts of Transformers was the combiners. The first time I remember seeing Devastator combine, I was like, oh my god. And then later on in Series 2, when you see like the other combiner teams like Superion and that, and Menasor, you're like, oh my god, this is so cool. There's loads of them now. And yeah, anything that pushes them in a more playable fashion, I am a massive fan of.
Yeah, 100%. I really like it. And obviously in this set, you've seen they've touched on Superion. Later, we're going to get to the Stunticon one. That's also incredible as well. So amazing design, guys. Really good job. Cannot just, yeah, golf claps around. That's all I'm saying. It's so nice to see combiners coming, you know, back, because we want to. Because like, who doesn't want to play and smash smaller robots with giant robots? You know.
Cool. So what's next then?
Right. So next we have a stratagem for Private RC Special Ops Warrior, and it's called Drop 'em. For 1 star, your deck can have up to 1 extra star of cards, which is pretty cool. And also, when your Private RC Special Ops Warrior has an armor on, she has +1 attack, and also the card grants +1 health. So obviously you've seen the artwork. Come on, that's from the movie. It's the most iconic thing when she has that cool pistol and she's shooting those tentacle things inside the belly of Unicron. That's really cool. Obviously, Private RC is a really cool character. She really got, I would be very bluntly and say, very overlooked, I would say, when she first came out, just because she was just surrounded in a wave where everything was better. Like, that was the wave where you had Major Shockwave, you had Magnus,
General Prime. There was
General Prime. Yeah, she got lost in the shuffle, let's be honest. But to be honest, her she's really good. Like, I'm just going to pull up her card now.
Yeah, she's got focus in alt mode, hasn't she? And then in bot mode, it's like if she has a weapon, she gets bold and tough one.
Yeah.
I think.
So
something like
if
that.
you, yeah, it is. Yeah. So obviously she has focus 1. Her stats are 4, 12, and 1 across the board. If you're on YouTube, you can see the cards right now. In audio, I apologize. So she's 8 stars. So with this stratagem, we'll go to 9. And then obviously in bot mode, when she has a weapon, she gets bold 1, tough 1, and then obviously she gets +1 health with this stratagem, so she'll go to 13 health. So she's not bad. She's melee in both modes. She's a car. So Dave, right up your street. I might try her out again because I like playing like themed lists. I feel really hilariously strong that I would love to play this in a kind of, maybe dare I say it, a Unicron raid with the strat, so I can have like a kind of fun themed build, like most definitely.
I was about to say exactly the same thing, and that's something I'm going to be working on, because we've done one Unicron raid on the Hustlers, and we're going to do some more, but I want to go full on theme. So I want a team of Springer on it, and then somehow I've got to find a way of getting Hot Rod, Cup and Grimlock all on the same team. I'm going to do it. So I'd like to see Springer and RC together. She was lost with everything that surrounded her, and also overshadowed by previous Waves cars. For 8 stars, you got Cliff Jumper. Like there's no disagreement there. She just wasn't as impressive. But then she was a common, so. From a limited perspective, I didn't do an awful lot of limited Transformers play, unfortunately, because we didn't really get that many sets after I'd started playing. But, from limited, I think it'd be, she'd be cool in that environment, so you can see why she was the power level she was. But yeah, she just didn't really see enough play. This stratagem's nice because although it costs a star, it doesn't really, because you get your star back. So it keeps her at that nice 8-star mark. It gives her, 13 health? I think she has 12
13
normally.
health. Yeah,
so 13 health. And yeah, if you get her into bot mode and give her the weapon and an armor, then she actually becomes 6 attack, bold 1, tough 1. That's pretty good. So whilst I don't think this is spectacular, I think it gives a character definitely reason to give her another look and at least play with, because let's face it, she's probably sat in your binders, listeners. If you've got RC, because she's not 5-star motorbike RC. That's she would though, wouldn't she? She's been sat in my binder. I have to make an effort to put let's playing cars. Let's just put RC in just because she looks sad.
That face. It doesn't work on an audio medium, but that face is just the shock of why are you saying these horrible things, Dave?
Yeah. I know. But yeah, I will give her another play. It might be interesting, again, touching on what we talked about earlier, the Junkion format. So while she might be a bit in a world full of Cliff Jumpers and all the other rarity, I like, tracks and all that, Wind Charger, let's put her in Junkion. This is a common stratagem for a common character. She's going to shine there. She is. Again, it's what they're trying to do with the set, isn't it? So.
Yeah, 100% agree with you on that, Dave. 100% agree with you. So, with that being said, let's move on to the next stratagem.
And it's quite appropriate again because I like, Stunticons are my only ever combiner team as a child that I owned, all of them. So High Speed Chase for Motormaster, the Stunticon Don, and on its flip side, so very much like the Superior one, for Menacor, the Menacing Colossus. It begins with the Motormaster side face up. Each of your Stunticons has bold 1, so again, giving them those extra flips to get you the orange and the blue to get the additional bonus flips of your guys. When you combine into Menacor, flip this. So same as Superion. At the end of the turn, if you have 5 Stunticon characters in bot mode on the battlefield or in your KO area, you may do the thing at the end of your turn. So pretty much carbon copy of the Superion one. Which is good. So again, not favouring the Autobot or Decepticon in any way. It's like you both do the same thing, you both help them out in the same way, so no one's received any preferential treatment there. So we're going to go to the flip side, which now applies to Menasor, Menacing Colossus. When you play your second action during your turn, repair 1 damage from Menasor. That is sweet.
That's awesome.
But bear in mind, if your deck's built right, you're going to be playing those 2 actions most turns, so that's cool. When your Menasor, Menacing Colossus has at least 30 damage, he becomes sturdy. So second time we've seen the keyword. That's pretty good.
So insane. It's insane. That's what it is, Dave. It's insane.
Insane in the membrane. Insane in the membrane.
Pretty good. +1 attack, +5 health. Again, everything we said about the Superion one kind of applies here. It's just kind of almost like a reverse, where so the direct damage cards get +1 damage. This is like, well, I'm just going to repair damage a turn. Now think about it, put toolbox on it, that's 2 damage, hopefully around. Plus, if you're playing the other repair action cards, it could be more. And the sturdy, that is really strong.
Yeah. For a star, you're getting a repair mechanic, you're getting damage reducer, you're getting more health, you're getting more attack. It just really plays well for Menasor, which is really, really dope. I really like it. I think it's possibly the best stratagem, just saying is all. Just because Menasor, you're building actions, you're building combos, you're building like a combo deck build. That's what you want to do. All the actions in the world, this combo into this action, to this, to this, to this. And it can really open up, bringing, again, like we were saying earlier, bringing combiners back to the forefront, which I absolutely love.
100%. I couldn't agree more with what they've tried to achieve here with these stratagems and the new leaders, and when we look at the battle cards, the new battle cards as well. So let's see how Superion and Menasor fare in this new world of ALPHA TRION Protocols 2. So listeners, viewers, you got any deck ideas for this? Let's have them, and me and Lee can maybe do a webcam gigantic combiner war.
I'm 100% down for that.
So it's your turn, isn't it? So over to you, mate.
Yeah, so, I freaking love the Stunticon one. It's super cool. And, yeah, we're going to get straight into the 5th stratagem. So we're almost at the end of the stratagems. And it's our boy, or mainly your boy, Dave. But I've fallen in love with this character. It's for Grapple Autobot Architect. It is called Master Builder. Such an iconic name, obviously. Obviously, episode as well, very iconic.
Yeah.
The stratagem for 1 star, it is your grapple gains bold 1, tough 1. So obviously, if you've played the game, grapple needs to keep on flipping multiple different cards to allow you to trigger those cool abilities. You know, that 4 damage is very, very powerful. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and also in the other mode, when you flip more icons, you get more attacks, etc. You know, it's just perfect. It's bang on. There's nothing to really elaborate on except well done, golf clap, amazing. I just love it. What are your thoughts, Dave?
Yeah, it's great. Give it +3 health, so it takes into to 15.
Yeah.
And like you say, like there's nothing really much more to say about it. He wants the bold to get the +4 attack, to get the +4 armor, and the tough. You know, like it pushes him to 13. That's quite a lot. But 13 stars for 15 health, you're kind of sitting in the same kind of health pool as what Prime has.
Yeah.
And the Soundwave that we looked at earlier as well, like he's got... no, in fact, he's 11, isn't he? So I'm just talking out my butt here. But yeah, it's you know, for kind of harkens back to the Wave 1 ALPHA TRION Protocols with the Inferno one. Yeah. Giving them a health tool more reflective of their card cost in the modern game rather than the Wave 1/2 game where they maybe bots didn't have as high health totals. So yeah, it's cool. Will it push Grapple in? Will it push him into like hyper playability? No, but I do love Grapple and I will be trying this out with him.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like it's great. Obviously, I'm looking at it now. It only really benefits his bot mode, but still, you will take that every single day. Like 4 different colors, like going to 8 If you flip 4 different colors, having bold, awesome. And then obviously if you're flipping orange as well on top of that, you add it to it. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
It's solid. Yeah, thanks. Let's get Grapple on the board again and see how we can play with that. So that's cool. So we're on the last one, aren't we? This is the last stratagem.
We are.
So this is one of my favourite characters from Wave 4, which is Whatever It Takes, and it's for Sergeant Barricade, the Infantry Enforcer. I really love this character. He's got really, really cool shenanigans. He was in the R Deck Tech Challenge. He was one of the characters I put alongside Hot Rod.
Yeah.
To try and get Emergency Defense Field, your favourite card, underneath him and just do some shenanigans. Again, it's effectively a free stratagem. Your deck can have up to 1 extra star of cards, so if you're going to take Barricade, there's no reason not to take this. Your Sergeant Barricade Infantry Enforcer has Tough 1, so it's nothing spectacular, but it does help him flip more cards on the defense to hopefully get you ready for action, because let's face it, that's the main card you would play with him. But there's lots of other viable choices as well in the blank card category. So it's not particularly exciting, but it's effectively free, and I think that means we're going to see it played. And again, Junkion.
Yeah, dude. They're pushing Junkion. Who would have thought that? But it's awesome. I really like this. It's like you said, I think you said everything. That this is one of the main cogs to get ready for action. Like that card and Barricade are incredible. And also if you're running other kind of non-pip cards that you want to build the deck differently, it just helps. At the end of the day, it just helps, and it's really, really good. Like, what more can you ask except for a free stratagem that benefits Barricade in the long run and helps you play to his strengths? It's fantastic.
Yeah, completely agree. And it's effectively free, so why not play it? A Barricade's cool. I like him a lot. He's definitely worth playing with. So, that's it really.
Yeah.
He's solid. He's common. It'd be interesting to see how he fares in the Junkion environment. So yeah, that's all the stratagems, listeners. So let us know your thoughts on them. What are your thoughts overall? Is there anything crazy? I think the standout ones are the 2 combiner stratagems, without doubt. They're really, really cool. And it'd be interesting to get them all on the board. So like I did with the ALPHA TRION Protocols 1, I got them printed. I'll be doing that again for this set in its entirety. So yeah, we're done with the stratagems, mate. So should we blitz through these battle cards? We don't have 2 sides to talk about. We've only got one side.
We've only got one side.
This is what happened last time. We're like, it won't take that long. And then
it won't take too long, but you guys are here for the long ride. You're here for the journey.
That's a good thing. It's like a radio show. So if you're on a journey somewhere, if you're in the States and you're driving a bajillion miles somewhere, you just listen to our delightful British accents and
who doesn't want to, honestly? Seriously, come on.
But
let's be honest.
It's I think to give these cards just a cursory glance wouldn't be fair to the creators. So we do with the arc, yes, we're talking in detail, but I think it's deservedly so, because you can't do a set justice if you just go, well, this card, blah 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 blah, and rinse through. So we're on to the battle cards. It's the last part of this part of the episode before we go on to the listener questions.
Yes.
You go ahead, mate. You jump right in with this first one. I've dealt with the big lads a lot, so you can do this one, mate.
Oh, thank you so much. I like that. Thank you. So the first battle card we're looking at is Aerial Defense Armaments, which is for obviously the aerial bots. It is a blue and white pip, and it also has the aerial bot logos on there, guys, so that's pretty awesome. It's a utility, it's an upgrade, and it's 1 star cost, guys, and it gives you +1 attack. So this is what you get. So put on Autobots only, Tough 1. When you put this on an aerial bot, move 1 damage from the upgraded character to an enemy, then repair 1 damage from your Superion Sky Protector. So my thoughts here, Dave, when looking at this, early game, if you put this on a normal aerial bot, you get to move damage around. That's kind of cool. That's what you want to do. Mainly, this is for the big boy at the end, because obviously, with that stratagem, you get to repair 1 and do other shenanigans. With this, oh my days, you can just basically put this on, you move 1 damage, and then you repair 1, and then you get +1 attack. it seems pretty awesome for one star cost. Like, you get to do some bouncing around shenanigans. I like it for 1 star.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very, very strong card, but you'll only be able to play 1 copy of it. So it's balanced there. So whilst it's very powerful, your opponent's not going to always have this in their hand because, you know, you've only got 1.
Ooh, wait a minute. Can you run it with Heroic Spotlight or not?
You could, but if you ran Heroic Spotlight, you wouldn't be able to take the super duper cool new stratagem. In fact, yes, no, you can. You could still play with the new thing and 2 copies of this. So yes, you can.
There we go. Math, not my strong suit ever, and it always has been proven on my channel.
And let's face it, it's late, so you know.
It's late when recording this as well, so there you go, listeners.
So
it's late for us.
Yeah, but no, it's a great card. It's not going to be oppressive because it doesn't have a green pip. You're only going to see 1/2 copies of this in their deck. It's good. It's really, really strong, and it does exactly what you want it to, and that's help him be a bit more resilient in a hyper-aggressive world where Fangries and Horribles and you know, Perceptors are all running around like nutters. This helps Superion hopefully get a bit of staying power.
100%. All right. Okay, Dave, let's move straight into the next battle card.
Okay, this is another star card, and this is Bullseye Aegis. Double orange pip, which is cool. Upgrade armor. Bold 1. Brave. Enemies attack this character if able. +1 armor for a star, and it's a common. So Junkion viable. Superb piece of artwork as well. I love the Prime holding his shield there. That's just awesome.
Yeah, man. It's good. It's nice artwork.
Double orange with bold. So it's like an improvised shield that actually helps you attack. So it's very good. And brave. Like, so yeah, what do you think? I think that's a strong star card.
It's good. It's a star card that gives you 2 abilities, which is Bold 1 and Brave. So obviously you want to give it to someone who you want to get hit, but you don't mind letting them punch a bit above their weight, because obviously going in with Brave, you know for a fact they're going to get hit. So you want to give them a little bit extra. So, you know, Bold 1, not too laughable. Like, we always joke when it's like, okay, we're going to put a handheld blaster on someone for Bold 1, lols. But, you know, for giving you 1 additional armor point and 2, you know, traits such as Bold and Brave, I can't complain.
No,
it's pretty good.
It's a great, you know, it's a good card. It's a star cost, so you're not going to see them in every deck, and you're not going to see it everywhere. But it is good. But because it is an armor, it's vulnerable to Bashing Shield, so it's not busted. And let's face it, Bashing Shield is a staple of a lot of decks. So it's good, but it's not going to be broken. You know, it's got a very good effect. I like it. I like Brave. We talked about earlier. Brave is really, really cool. So having that on a card, I think, is good.
Yeah, and it's awesome. And, you know, it fits the whole old school storyline of Wizards when they started doing star cards for dual pips and stuff like that. It fits in that motif really, really well. So, enough said. Right. The third card we're talking about is Caught Off Guard. It is a blue pip. It's an action. And it states, put an enemy upgrade on the bottom of its owner's deck. That's how simple it is. The artwork, again, just to say, amazing. Jetfire literally looks like he's going to pretty much power slam Starscream off a cliff from the looks of it, or into something. But yeah, I love this card. I'm going to boldly say I think this is one of the best cards in the set, just because this is a card I can immediately look at and go, cool, I can put an enemy upgrade on the bottom of its owner's deck. Let's get rid of those pocket processors. Let's get rid of those utilities, you know, that I really struggle to get rid of because there's only certain cards designed to get rid of utilities. This card fits that mold really, really well. What are your thoughts, Dave?
Yeah, it's like Vaporize, but with a different mechanic to it. So it's kind in a world full of characters that like to recur stuff. Quite often you'd be like, oh, I'll Vaporize that, but you've got Swindle / Retgar from the Ark or whoever. You're just going to get it back. What's the point? Catch Off Guard deals with it for a while, and I think that's good.
It's true. I love it. It's just like swindled and Retgar just ruin everything now, which is great, which is now common phrasing. It's great. I love it.
To spoil everything, that silly Junkion and his stupid recursion. No, I think it's good. And it's nice that it's not just a functional reprint of Vaporize. It does something different, and I like that.
Yeah.
So there's not many bells and whistles on this card, but it is effective at what it does. And like you say, it's any upgrade. So utilities that are problematic like Duracell and Pocket Processor and plenty of others. There are some really cool utilities, particularly in the Arc. There's some really good ones. Just having an answer to them is cool. So yeah, I'm a fan. I like it.
Yeah, I like it.
I'd main deck it, so it's got to be all right.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. Again, it's a common card. Oh, no, it's a rare, sorry. I really like it just because the fact that you can really ruin someone's day if they're going heavy upgrades. So if they're trying to like form something incredible to get loads of triggers off, kind of similar to what we saw in the Arc with Rodimus Prime, getting rid of Matrix is pretty strong, which can be kind of annoying. So
yeah, particularly, absolutely. That's another good example because Rodimus Prime from the Arc, when you flip him back to alt mode, you get the Matrix back out your scrap. Catch off guard is going to deal with that. So no, it's cool. It's not many bells and whistles, but it does something unique within those kind of cards that deal with upgrades. So I like it. It's good.
Yeah, 100%. Right, Dave, your card. Sir.
It's the reverse of the one I just talked about a minute ago, and this one's called Hands-Free Artillery. It's a double blue pip, 1-star card. It's an upgrade weapon. Awesome picture of Warpath on the front. Pierce 1, tough 1, +2 attack. So it's a bit like a primary laser that's a little bit better, really. I think this is good. It's good. It's a common again, so you can see them pushing those star cards to fill out those last 1 or 2 stars in the Junkion format. I like it. Pretty much everything I said about the orange counterpart applies to this one. I think they're both good cards. They're both solid. They're not oppressive because they're a star card. So yeah, what do you think?
I love it. I really love it because it's exactly what you say. It's a better primary laser. Again, it can either be used. It can be used in a Junkion format. It's just really good. And again, giving you 2 keywords such as Pierce and Tough is really cool because Tough, this benefits it because it's dual blue. Pierce, because you're probably going to be running blue-black. That's really cool. And the artwork, man, I love Warpath. Shame the card is trash in this game. But, hey, Wave 2 of the Arc is coming. I know these guys are creating characters. Maybe we see a new Warpath. And if you are, can you please have this artwork? Because this looks absolutely sick. Just
totally.
We need a new Warpath.
Yeah, a new Warpath or a stratagem for him. Because his ability is actually very good. Like, the ability to turn off Tough is actually really cool. And he's got native Pierce. So I actually think a stratagem just to up his health pool could be good. Yeah. So, and that's the good thing with, one of the good things about Wave 5 that Wizards gave us was the stratagem thing. So it's interesting to know that the Arc and Alpha Trion and the other content creators that are making these fan-made sets have that card type injected into the game at the very end of its life with Wizards. So it's cool. Yeah. What's next, mate?
Okay, so we're halfway through the battle cards, and it's an action. It's a Decepticon card, guys, and it's Interrogation. Love this card, really do. It's a black icon, so it's a Pierce icon. It's an action, and it states on the card, guys, do 1 damage to one of your characters. Your opponent reveals their hand, and you scrap a card from it that has 1 or fewer battle icons. So this is a way of getting rid of single action icons and those blank pip cards that are incredibly powerful in this game. I absolutely love this card. It's so good and it's so themed. It just feels right in every single way, like you would be, it's great design. I love it. I love this card. I know it's going to be seen play with let's just say a certain possible major sound wave that I've built, possibly. Just saying is all. But Yeah, it's so good. It's good. What are your thoughts, Dave?
Yeah, exactly what you just said. It's going to help Soundwave. You know, you can have this counter-espionage and espionage in your deck. So you can, if you can brainstorm or do some other cheaty shenanigans, you could have a peep at their hand with another card, and then boom, you know, if I've got those extra actions in the bank, you can do some stuff with this. So yeah, I like it. There's a little bit of a drawback, 1 damage to one of your characters, but if it's horrible, who cares, because you're just gonna give it to someone else. So
I love this just because I like the fact that I can run it in a Magnus deck and I wouldn't care.
Yeah, absolutely. You're like, oh, I don't care.
Because of Magnus Armor, don't care. I don't care. Magnus Armor, don't care. But then again, people might say, why are you running Magnus Armor? And then I just go, yeah, touche.
Yeah, we've had this chat previously about armors and bashing shield.
We always have this.
The sad Ultra Magnus when he goes, oh, I've got this amazing armor, oh, it's gone. It fell off.
It's so true. Right, okay, so Dave, the next card is yours, sir.
Yeah, this is going back to our favourite combiners.
Oh, yeah.
Eye Eyes a Sword. Orange pit for Stunticons, blue pit for Stunticons. 1 star. Upgrade weapon. Put on Decepticons only. When your Menacor or Menacing Colossus attacks and you flip at least orange-blue, draw a card. +3 attack. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Sits again, like, you know, now we've done the maths and worked it out, you can play Villainous Spotlight and 2 of these. Menacor. So, yeah, I like that. Drawing extra cards to play extra actions is going to be good. And was it making 9 attack? It's base 6, I think.
I want to say yes, but I'm going to find out now.
Yeah, let's get that lift music ready.
Or it'll take his base 6, so it'll go to 9.
Yeah.
Just
So that's
a casual 9.
Yeah. So that again is doing what they said they wanted to do, and that's make the combiners stronger. So what do you think, like?
I love it. I'm just funny because it's like the artwork is awesome because it's Motormaster, but then it says that when Menacor attacks and you flip this, you draw a card. I don't know if it's out there, but I just love how iconic Menacor is, because he's all these cards, and then out of nowhere he gets a sword, very similar to Power Rangers. Don't know where they keep it, but it's there. And it's just, you know, obviously Motormaster is really well known for running around with a sword as well, so I don't know if we have an issue where when he combines to Menacor the sword gets bigger. I don't know. I could just be ranting for no apparent reason, and some lawyer, someone who knows the lore of Transformers can tell me it's a different sword, but I just think it'd be funny to that Motormaster sword grows like a combiner for the for Menacor sword. I think it'd be hilarious. But if you know, please comment below. Tell me it would be hilarious. I would like to.
It's
know.
cool, but yeah, it does the same thing as the Superion one. It just improves that character and makes them a threat. You know, a 9 attack combiner is not funny. That's going to hurt. Whatever he looks at is probably going to get squished. So yeah.
Right. Okay. Oh yeah, this card. Okay, right, cool. So this card is ridiculous, and I love it to death. So this is card number 7. This is called Lock on Lasers. It is a white and it's a green pip card. It's a weapon. It's an upgrade. It gives you +1 attack, and in the text box it states Pierce 1, and when the upgraded character attacks an enemy with 17 stars or more, it gets an additional +2 attack and Pierce 2 this battle. So, this is a great sideboard card if you go up against horrific big things. Let's just name a few, shall we? Bruticus, Scorponok, Metroplex. Oh, the big, but yeah, I'm just going to read all of them off, aren't I? So it's just the big boys. This is a great sideboard card to stop the big boys. And, you know, to have something that basically gives you Pierce 1, Attack 1, not too shabby. If you're going against a Combiner or a Titan or anything bigger, you know, Pierce 3, Attack 3 isn't too shabby, and you keep a hold of it is incredibly strong, because let's think about this. Fusion Borer does exactly what this does, but you get rid of it immediately, but the trade-off is it's a black pip. This is a white and green, so it's searchable, and you flip more cards in the flipping phase. I love it. I love this card. I think it's awesome. And the artwork. Look at the artwork. The artwork's cool. I have no idea what Autobot that is. It might be Cliff Jumper.
I think it is Cliff.
There we go. It might be Cliff Jumper.
And that makes me a fan automatically. I think you know, from my perspective, I think it's really nice to see a set where they're pushing combiners, but they're also like, well, we need to have something for the other side of the coin. We need something that's, if we're going to make these guys much better, we need something that's going to help against them. So that's a nice bit of foresight from them. So, you know, if you're not against combiners, it's a bit underwhelming. I probably wouldn't play this. But like you say, in the sideboard, oh my goodness, they've got Superion. Where's my lock on lasers? You know, fire everything. It's a nice sideboard card, and it's a nice bit of foresight from them. And it doesn't just hit combiners, it hits Metroplex, who they've made much better with Heed the Call. It's going to help against, if you mix and match, Bruticus, who is savage. You know, it's really, really good, and I like that. So yeah, that's a big clap from me there, because I think that's a really nice bit of design in the set, that they've got a counterbalance.
It's 100% true. If you're pushing one thing, you need to have a counterbalance against the thing you're pushing. So it's good design. Really good job, guys. Well done on that front. So, Dave, we're going to talk about a card you got to spoil, I believe.
I did. So this was in my spoiler vid, so I'm just going to kind of reiterate what I said in that, really. It's called Spotlight. It's a star card. It's an orange and blue pip. It's a utility. Enemies can't use stealth. +1 attack, +1 armor. Common rarity, so again, pushing that Junkion format. And if you think of Junkion, one of I imagine a solid team would be is a patrol team, because you can go 4/5 wide and they all have stealth. So this is good. It's a cool card. It's very, very good for a star, I won't lie. Double orange, sorry, not double orange. Orange and blue is a dual colour utility that doesn't take up a weapon slot, that turns off stealth. It's bloody good, but I think it's going to be interesting to see how that performs in Junkion. You know, I haven't played the format a lot myself, so I don't know how prevalent patrols are, but I imagine they could be pretty good.
Yeah, I love this card. I think it's great. It's a cool design space. Stealth is an issue, and so is Bravery, so it's kind of cool to have a card that actually deals with stealth. It's cool. It rewards you by giving you +1 attack and +1 armor. It allows you to play it if you decide to run Villainous and Heroic Spotlight, because it's a blue and orange, so that's awesome. And yeah, I really like the card. I think it's fun, and yeah, what more can you ask for? You know, there's a lot of things that I have stealth, you can't hit me. Well, you can't anymore, so I'm gonna come punch that thing. That's really cool. So yeah, it's really, really good. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's a cool card, and I think like it addresses a potential issue in a format that they're pushing. So, you know, if patrols are everywhere, then you've got that answer. So again,
100%.
It's showing forethought when it comes to a format. So I like that. That's good.
Yep, 100%. Right, okay. So my card I'm going to talk about, the second to last one, guys. We're almost there. It is a secret action. It's called Survive. It's a blue pip, and it's a secret action, like I said. And it says, reveal when one of your characters would take damage from an opponent's card. When revealed, that character becomes sturdy until the end of turn. So again, this is a card that's pushing the new keyword they put in, which is sturdy. So this again is a secret action that can stop all those cards, or your opponent's card that would just do non-bounce damage. So let's think, like we stated earlier in the podcast, stops horrible, stops all the fun shenanigans with Camion Crash, all this other jazz, and it's a blue pip, so it fits really well with the whole idea of secret actions. And the artwork seems very familiar, because I believe that's the Optimus that is used in the Wave 1 artwork, so that's kind of fun. Or should we say the deck box, or the box of boosters you could get in Wave 1. So Dave, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's cool. It's interesting. It's very similar to another battle card, isn't it? Which was Take Cover.
Yep.
So it's interesting that they've chosen to have another one of them, but I just suppose it gives you redundancy and the ability to play more copies of something. So if that tactic is very prevalent, then you can do that. But the key thing here, the difference between this and Take Cover, is Sturdy also applies to combat damage from opponents' characters. So if you're going up against like a swarm team, all of their characters effectively get -1 attack as well. So it fulfills a different role. So you could opt to take cover because it protects your entire team, but if you're outnumbered and you're down to your last man, this can help them weather that storm. So I like it. It's a nice to have very similar cards that do things slightly differently. So like we said with Catch Off Guard earlier, it's almost a Vaporize, and this is almost a Take Cover. So it's interesting to see that.
I have to agree. I really like it. I think it's one of those cards that might go, yeah, it might see play in some decks. It might be a sideboard deck, but I think a lot of people might like it just because it has the keyword Sturdy on it. It might have value. But obviously we need to play games with it. So, yeah, I really like it. So, Dave, what is that it? Are we on to the final card? Are we on to the final?
We're on to the final card, yeah. Like, I don't think I've got anything to add with regards to Survive. Again, I'd like to play with it to see just how cool Sturdy is. Particularly, if they're pushing combiners and stuff and you're getting swarmed early on, Sturdy could be more relevant than a Take Cover. So I think it's definitely got promise. So yeah, the last one is Take by Surprise, which has got a really cool picture. That's the Wave 1 Ironhide art, and I like that art.
Vietnam flashbacks of that Ironhide.
This is it. Absolutely. It's an orange pip card. It's an action. Do 1 damage to one of your characters. Put an enemy upgrade on top of its owner's deck. So a bit like Catch Off Guard, but an orange pip card. So it's nice that they've done, well, here's that mechanic kind of for blue, and we're going to give you the polar opposite for orange. And I like that. So if you're playing against an aggro deck, you can just put an orange upgrade back on top of their deck. And then it kind of kills their flips sort of thing, Yeah, it's very, very similar. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. Obviously, very prevalent is orange and black. Playing those two together, so you can run this and Interrogation. Very strong. I feel it's really cool. You can really just, yeah, I really like it. Like, you can just have stuff where, oh no, you don't want this, oh, you don't want that. I really like that idea of a design space for these battle cards. Obviously, I think it's really cool to have cards where we need to have that thing of, I want to mess around with upgrades that are on the field. I want to have stuff that stops people from other hands, different design spaces that hasn't been like really looked at a ton, because obviously we've had cards in the past that do all these things, but it's kind of fun to have other cards than just go, oh, I'm only going to run 3 of this because I can only run 3 of that. Oh, now I've got this other card. I can actually run more cards kind of like that, which have different names but do something along the same like vein, which is really good, because that's what we needed, really, wasn't it? You'd run bashing shields to get rid of armors, and then you'd basically run ramming speeds to get rid of upgrades in general. It fills that really nice design space. It's really cool.
It's another card that kind of is a viable alternative to stuff. I think what we didn't touch on with Catch Off Guard, and it's just occurred to me with Take by Surprise, is this is very good against a card in particular that was in Alpha Trion 1, which is the Jetfire Stratagem.
Oh, yes.
So these...
That is 100% true.
Yeah, so these 2 cards are possibly in response to Jetfire Stratagem being bloody amazing. It's the only way I'm going to say. And also, to a lesser degree, the Living Weapon one. Let's face it, Living Weapon is still very sad, Megatron in the corner. But that made his weapons indestructible, so having an answer to it. So without these 2 cards, I think the only other answer, apart from possibly an odd character ability here and there, was Disarm. So if you're going to make a character very, very nuts, and let's face it, Jetfire's ability with that stratagem is bonkers.
It is bonkers.
It is bonkers. This is a viable sideboard choice if you're against the Jetfire decks, along with Catch Off Guard.
100% true.
Again, that shows reactiveness by the team, that they're like, yeah, we may have made this card a bit nuts, we need an answer to it. And they've made one. In fact, they made two.
But that's really, really awesome. And that's really good design space. So, yeah, right. That is the wave, guys. Overall, Dave, I'll let you kick off with your thoughts on it as a whole.
Yeah, I really like to see the fact that they've delved into other card types this time. Obviously, the stratagems from ALPHA TRION Protocol 1 are cool. They're definitely, I've been looking at some of the footage that Dan's been posting and some of the sort of tournament results. You're definitely seeing cards from the first ALPHA TRION being played now, which is what they set out to do. So I'm hoping that this continues that vein. I like the fact that they're pushing combiners. It's nice that they haven't just done all five, all six with Devastator, sorry, from that seven, I don't know.
It's a big number, but we just forget
several.
about Volcanicus because everyone knows that should have been Defensor. Just saying, it's all just
yeah. But it shows that they've got the intent to continue this on. So if these prove popular and successful, you're going to see that further. So I like that. Loads of cool stuff. Some of the characters are nuts. I really like Drift. I really like Soundwave. I think Soundwave is very, very good. I really like Coneheads. I just think it's nice to see them do a bit more of a rounded set. It felt like the last one was like, here's some sticky plasters to band-aid the flaws in some of those Wave 1 characters that just didn't cut the mustard, whereas this is more of like, let's have a look at the game in a more general form and looking at what we can do collectively. And they haven't gone mental. It's nice that it's a small pocket size set and that they can assess how it impacts their meta, because ultimately they are one of the main driving forces behind the tournament scene at the moment, particularly in this coronavirus world.
Yeah, I agree with everything you say there, Dave. Again, sounds like a bit of a cop-out, but I 100% agree. I think, obviously, with designing cards or anything that you're going to do is going to always borderline on praise and criticism. You'll always get that. And so throwing in out cards that you want to see that design space go for, that's amazing. You got the Coneheads to work. Obviously, I know personally through the playtesting and how many different iterations there have been, because they were like, this is really good, but this is broken, and this is why. And seeing those synergies that no one else really saw, that's why you have those design spaces. So it's really cool to see that. I love the battle cards. I think there's some really interesting designs going forward if they're going to do more, obviously, for Junkion and the format they've created. Looking forward to seeing that. And I think the stratagems, to be honest, I feel all the stratagems are pretty solid. Like, I feel like the stratagems for combiners, really, really good. The one for Megatron, really, really good. Like, obviously, you're going to sometimes have stratagems that are either hit or miss and they might not work. But I feel like with this, because obviously with Wave 1, they had all the stratagems in the world to test. With this, they've only got a small sample size, but that small sample size is really strong. And it pushes characters to the forefront, which, you might want to go back and look. Like our boy Grapple. Barricade's always been seen playing, but having the ability to run more shenanigans with him, that's amazing. It's just really good. I really like it. And I look forward to seeing what more stuff they do in the future. I know a few things, but I'm not going to say it on this podcast because I will get into trouble. And I don't want to be like... who's the actor from Spider-Man?
Tom Holland.
Yeah, I'm not a Tom Holland. I don't want to get into trouble.
Yeah, you got to be a good boy, mate.
I've got to be a good boy.
Yeah,
I burn bridges.
I think this set shows some maturity as well as they, I had some serious reservations about some of the Wave 1 ones, and I'd said that in my review, but they've done what they wanted to. They wanted them to be in their meta game, which is cool. And That's always got to be taken into account, is that these cards are made by a competitive team that are pushing the tournament scene in a time where we can't have real world tournaments. So what they've done for the Transformers community online with their webcam tournaments is phenomenal. So, you know, I like it. I think the set's good. There's one thing I wanted to say about the cards just before we go, and this is from a printing perspective. So Dan, if you're listening, what I would like to see, because I get all my stuff printed by makeplayingcards.com, and one thing that we need on these Alpha Trion and any other content set creators that are listening, if we could have the individual cards images as JPEGs with a bleed area on the outside to make the black border bigger on the battle cards, for example. Because what happens is, if when you send it to print and make playing cards, if the bleed area is not big enough, you actually lose some of the card. So just it's more of an aesthetic thing, really. But you don't want to lose game text or card images. So that's just a bit of feedback from me that with regards to that. But that's only because I send them away.
100%. Okay, so right now we would have a awesome conversation where we're going to answer listeners and viewers' questions. We're only going to do one because I'm looking at the time, and it has been a beast of a podcast again.
It always is.
We never ever do anything just like, we're just going to talk for a little bit. No, we talk for hours from the sounds of it. It's really good, though. You're getting your free money's worth on this free podcast, I'm telling you. So all the people who have sent us questions, we are actually doing a podcast. Our next podcast is going to be with our good friend Mataphone. We're going to talk about the Ark, and we're going to just nerd out about Transformers. So all those questions that you've handed in to us and sent us either privately or either posted on the posts on our Facebook pages, etc., they're going to get answered in that episode, because we're just going to hang out and talk Transformers, which I think is exactly right up Matt's and Dave's and my street. So your questions will be answered, and going forward, if there's more questions, trust me, we will get round to answering all of them.
This is it. We will answer them all. We are writing them down. I'm furiously copying and pasting when stuff gets sent to me, you know. And, you know, feel free to reach out to myself or Lee via Facebook. So if you don't want to post your question on a public Facebook group, just ping us a message privately, and we will ask it. If you want to remain anonymous, we can accommodate that as well.
Yes, make sure if you don't want your name being read out, let us know, please, because we don't want to, you have the right to privacy. Simple as. Right, so we've got one that we think is only appropriate because it's by Dan Arnold, the guy, the myth, the legend, from Vector Sigma. He states, Dave, just wanted to thank you both for supporting the protocols. This means a lot to us. Plus, we need to set up a game of Primus in the not too distant future to celebrate the Alpha Trion Protocols. But my question, though, is likely to be, what is the first deck you each will build with the Alpha Trion Protocols release? So, Primus is going to happen. We're going to have to bat, Team UK versus USA. Should we just do that? Let's just
we can do
throw
that.
Down our flag right now.
Dan's been trying to get me to do that as well. He's like, you definitely got to play Primus. You've got to play Primus. You've got to play Primus. I'm like, I really want to play Primus. I just haven't built a deck yet. And there's always that time difference issue. But I think over Christmas we could definitely do that. We'll find an evening for us and a daytime where he can escape for a couple of hours, and we'll definitely have a big old game of Primus via webcam. I'd love that.
It's true.
So I don't think there's any surprise what deck you're going to build first.
Yeah. Well, everyone knows what I'm going to build. So, but what are you going to build? Because I'm going to end on a high note.
Fair enough. Okay, so from set 2. Well, I could just be. I just want to do what you want to do.
Dude,
do you know what
let's do it.
Again, I'm a sport for choice here. In all honesty, I'm probably going to look at the 2 combiners.
Of course. Okay.
And then I'll let you do your Conehead thing, and then you can beat me to death with them. I will be doing the Coneheads. I'll tell you who's really, and I hadn't seen this character until I actually opened the PDF the other day, Drift. I really want to do something with that character. I love him in the comic. I want to do that. But probably first, I'm going to do probably the Stunticons, because I love them as a team. Like I say, they're nostalgia maximum for me, so that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, what are you going to build then?
Coneheads. Deck is already built. I just need to freaking play a game.
Of course it is. All right, well, we'll sort that out soon.
Cards. I know, we need to figure it out. I need to just print the cards out, but yeah, I've got my deck. I've got everything sorted. It's awesome, and especially if you're jumping on it as an old player returning or a new player, and you just discovered like Transformers. Oh, it's a dead game, but somehow there's fan created stuff, and it's all really cool. This is a cool jumping on point because you can just play these 3 characters and you're done. Like, it's really cool. It's a cool jumping on point. It was kind of like what Wizards did with Devastator and what they did with Metroplex, like these like the Soundwave and Blaster sets, because it was like, yeah, we're going to give you these cool characters, but you can just play with this box and you're done. Like, you can just play with these characters.
100%. That's exactly what you can imagine it being, the Seekers box set, without a doubt. And it would be cool moving down the line. Obviously, they've got that design space in there with the Seeker keyword, so it'd be nice to see that developed later on. Then you think, here's what you could have won, like, for those British listeners from Bullseye from the 1980s.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's what you could have won. It's a Coneheads box set. So, yeah, I'm excited. I think this is a fantastic time for the game. There's so much quality coming out from the community, and ALPHA TRION Protocols definitely sits up there.
Yeah, and it's exciting times, man, like I'm saying. So I can't really speak for Dave, but I know for us as a podcast, we just want to do a big shout out now for Vector Sigma. Thank you guys, all the people behind the scenes when it comes to card creation, all you play testers that helped put this together. I know you guys, I know I'm part of the Discord group, so I know there's a lot of you. I'm not going to name names because that would be just too dishonoring if I miss people. But guys, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing an amazing job. Obviously, when it comes to fan-created stuff, some people are like, this is more the competitive side than the casual and whatever. No, you need to basically have both sides. You need to make everyone happy, and I feel like your first wave did a fantastic job. Your second wave knocked it out of the park. You've got like the biggest, amazing, happy like Brit over here that I can finally play Coneheads. So thank you for not screwing that up, because if you did, oh my god, I'm pretty positive you would block me on every Thormer's like social media when I'm just like, guys, you screwed up making the Coneheads. But you did a great job, and yeah, I'm excited, looking forward to what's coming next, because you guys have got stuff coming out. The Ark are working on stuff, and I know we're going to try and like niggle at Matafer to tell us a few things. So it's going to be exciting times for us, I think, Dave.
Absolutely, 100%. And I'd like to just repeat what you said. Thanks, guys, for putting this content out there. And you're 100% right, mate. When it comes to the game, for every side of the coin that wants like the more casual builds and just to play like the characters they love from the cartoon, there's the people that thrive on that competitive scene. And it's great that you've got cards that do both, and groups that are working towards that goal. And like their online tournaments, that's what the bulk of the community have got at the moment. If you want to play competitively, go and play in Dan's events. He's always doing so much for the community, and that end of the spectrum. And I think, brilliant, dude. You've got my support. I'm always here for playtesting and as hanging out. We're here. We might be on the other side of the Atlantic, but in this modern day, it doesn't matter.
100% true. Even though he's a Philadelphia Flyers fan, I love you, Dan. You're amazing. Like, we'll always have our
that
rivalry.
means absolutely nothing to me.
Well, the funniest thing is when we did like testing, if you've watched that episode, I'm running Nemesis Prime and trying to get him to work in the first couple of alpha test episodes that I've ever done. And we watched it during the NHL, which is ice hockey playoffs. And I didn't know Dan was a diehard ice hockey fan like me. And both of our teams are in the same division and they don't get on well. So it's like another thing that we have in common other than Transformers is hockey. So Dan, keep up the good work. You're doing great. And all the guys at Vector Sigma. And with that being said, let's bring episode 11 to a close. Guys, thank you very much for sticking with us. It's been a bit of a marathon again, but hopefully this has got you guys excited about the set. Obviously, if you're watching it on YouTube, you've seen all the cards come up and all the flashy stuff. If you've heard it on the audio, I'm sorry, but thank you for the download. But we appreciate it anyway. So guys, on the screen right now is thumbnails to take you to Dave's channel, to subscribe to his channel, and my channel to go check out that stuff and subscribe to that channel. And then also, if you're listening to the audio medium, there's a podcast link for all the other podcasts that we do here at Bleeped Up Productions, and our YouTube channel, which, you know, is where we put most of our content. And also the main important thing is the link to get the ALPHA TRION Protocols WAVE 2. It's all there, free to download through Dropbox, I believe it is. So go download the cards for free, get them on the table, start playing this fantastic wave with all your Transformers goodness. So yeah, without further ado, it's a goodbye from me, Lee.
And a goodbye from me, Dave. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you on the next episode of One Shall Stand, One Shall Fall.
One shall stand, one shall fall.